A preppy wearing lots of tweed.
A stoner smoking lots of weed.
More subscribers.
That's what we need.
Here's the podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Preppy and The Stoner podcast. I, as always, am David, and I am the Preppy.
I am Bobby. I am definitely the stoner, and I've been smoking tangerine.
Okay.
Is how I know it is when I found it in Amsterdam.
Very nice.
At the I think it was called the Gray Area.
Okay.
G-A-G-R-E-Y, I believe.
Interesting.
Could have been wrong because it took me a long time to find it. It was kind of in the outer perimeter of
the dam.
Der Wallen.
Ah, interesting.
But dang it, if tangerine isn't my favorite.
Really? So you're feeling pretty groovy tonight?
Wow, and yeah, like particularly like almost indica high, and this is sativa.
Interesting.
So I'm really enjoying it. Oh, you know what? No, this is Phyllis Diller. This is Phyllis Diller.
That's the name.
That's
of
the name of the strand.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, we always start off every podcast, before we get into our lovely movie reviews and ideas, we do talk about some of the weed that Mr. Stoner has smoked.
Yeah, I mean, I have to do my prep for the show. It's
Right.
not fair to.
I have to do my prep for the show because I'm the preppy. That's rich.
That's good.
Anyway, it's been a little while since we've podcasted.
Yeah, since we've hit the microphone together, so it's very good to see you again. And
It's great to see
we got
you
a
as
lot
well.
to talk about, dude.
We have a lot to talk about. And since we've taken such a break, and I just want to say, all of our episodes are finally up on Apple iTunes. So if you go to your iTunes app, your podcast app on your phone, you can find the Preppy and the Stoner podcast.
Can I interrupt for a
Please,
second?
yeah.
Do you really have that little faith in our audience that they don't know how to download everything?
No, I just know that we have been telling them for weeks that it is on, that it's going to be on there. It's finally on there. So
Gotcha. That's my fault.
Yeah. So I just want to say the first 5 episodes are on there.
Yeah,
ready
and
for
I
you.
got to tell you, they're great.
I love them. I
And we've
listen to them.
lost 3 really great ones.
Right. So we're gonna try and make it up on this one.
See, what you guys don't know is before we finally got this one off the ground, we've literally been here for 2.5 hours trying to start the podcast, and my inability to know my own equipment, plus having a bum microphone.
But if you liked that intro, you should have heard the first 30 we did because they were just as good.
Yeah, if not better.
Yeah.
So we do apologize for although I know it is great, and I think that's a pure preppy idea, that one. Which I
Walked
totally
in with
appreciate.
it. Walked in with it, ready to go.
But let me ask you
Yes.
a question also, because I
Please.
would say there's going to be a percentage of the audience that is definitely lost on what that actual reference is.
Yes.
At what age do you think people are now where they don't get All in the Family references, Honeymooner references? Would you say like 35 and over are the only ones who really get that reference anymore?
Well, because
and
I'm
then specialized?
30, so
Right.
I know who
Obviously,
who
yeah.
Archie Bunker is. I know All in the Family. I didn't watch it religiously, but there was a point in our childhood where a bunch of shows from the 70s pretty much came back onto Nick at Night.
Right.
And that was sort of this resurgence.
And started poking through back into the pop culture.
Right, so I got to see Mork and Mindy on a second or third run. I got to see Welcome Back, Kotter. Like, I loved all these sort of 70s sitcoms. And then, of course, the Jeffersons.
Did you feel like that was more unique to you, or do you feel like that was more in your peer glass? You'd peer through a glass and you'd see that other kids your age were watching the similar stuff, or were you kind of alone in that?
When my mom bought me my first Pure Glass, I'm not sure. I don't remember talking a lot of, like, Welcome Back, Kotter with friends. But I do remember talking about these shows with my parents and going, I love this. This is John Travolta's first thing. This is amazing. They're like, oh, yeah, and Welcome Back, like all sorts of stuff. So... and then my parents going, yeah, the Jeffersons were first on All in the Family, and then it just sparked Norman Lear after Norman Lear after Norman Lear.
And much like Seinfeld,
Yeah.
different dad. different Mr. Jefferson
Yeah.
in the All in the Family.
Yeah.
And then Norman Lear making quite possibly one of the greatest casting choices of all time in grabbing Sherman Hemsley for George Jefferson, which I believe it came out like maybe 75 or 76. I could be wrong on the date. It might be later 70s, 78. Growing up, like, George Jefferson was one of the funniest human beings in the world to me.
Right.
Because, like, I feel like he was like the first real honest black character on television.
Well,
that
it's
was just like
funny also of like how mean he can be in that
That's
show.
what I mean. Like,
And
and
apparently
affluent. He wasn't
right.
like
But he worked hard for it. Right.
well, I mean, all the way up, dude.
Right. To the east side
He finally got a piece.
of that pie.
I mean, that's all you can ask.
And here's the thing. Apparently, Sherman Hemsley was the exact opposite
Right.
of
Right.
George Jefferson. Like, apparently, one of the nicest guys in show
Right.
business. Everybody on that show loved him and just said he was such a sweet guy.
Right.
So, I mean, it sort of proved what a good actor he was to be able to pull that off.
But I think, like, especially like those 70s actors, 70s and early 80s actors were actors.
Yeah.
They didn't grow up wanting to be on TV. They grew up wanting to learn how to act. Most of them were stage actors.
Right.
Everybody was polished.
Well, you have to remember, and, listeners, we will get into movies eventually since this is a movie podcast.
I think it just says the Preppy and the Stoner podcast. I don't
That's
think it's
true.
specific to movies.
Actually, I think we are listed in Apple iTunes under TV and film. So
I mean, come on. It's
we're talking
half of it right there.
we're talking 70s TV right now. So again, back to the original. Our intro was a parody of a. Sorry, I just knocked something behind me, not the actual mic, and it made me giggle. It wouldn't be this podcast if I didn't hit something
If he
at least
wasn't
30 times.
I believe that I got nothing.
All right, no worries. What I was going to say is,
Told you, man.
listeners, our
Phyllis Diller, dude.
our intro was based on All in the Family's intro. So if you have no idea what we're doing, go look up on YouTube.
But also, and it just dawned on me too, it's Family Guy's opening.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, as well.
Right. And there's a great Simpsons episode where they sing. Throughout the episode they do that intro, but geared toward the 70s when they grew up, sort of thing, and it's brilliant.
That's
but,
awesome.
I guess back to your original question. Yeah, I don't know what the cutoff point is. Like the honeymoon. Again, I think we've talked about this before in regards to movies and how you were exposed to them. I think TV shows are the same way.
Totally.
Whether a parent or a loved one or someone who was really passionate about that said, "You've got to see." Like, I remember my parents going, "You got to watch I Love Lucy." Like this, she's brilliant.
Yeah, I got to tell you, your parents have really phenomenal taste.
Yeah.
But good Lord, I can't disagree more with I Love Lucy.
Really?
Have we had this conversation?
We've never had this conversation.
Oh, dude.
Why? How is that even possible?
What?
She's brilliant.
How is she brilliant?
She's a comedic genius.
That you're giving me you're giving me statements. You're not giving me any proof.
I can watch
How?
any I Love Lucy and laugh, and
But what makes her brilliant? What was brilliant?
She's a wonderful physical comedian. She is great with timing. And, I mean, here's the other thing. You do have to give it to Desi Arnaz, who...
Thank you.
What? It was a partnership.
Everybody talks about... Yeah, but everybody talks about how great Lucy was. That without him, she's nothing.
Well, he was the string puller behind...
He was
the whole thing.
Abbott.
Yeah, but the straight man usually is.
But he also... Like, they revolutionized television.
Yeah.
They
He
like
was
truly,
the first one to say...
He was.
He
Why
said-
doesn't everybody say Desi Arnaz is brilliant? Why does everybody say Lucy was brilliant?
Because the show is called I Love Lucy, not I Love Desi and Lucy.
But
or,
but he was still on it. It's not like Larry David had to do Curb Your Enthusiasm to get all the credit he got for Seinfeld.
I would disagree with you. I would
Please?
say until he got Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's all Jerry Seinfeld.
Exactly.
Now, there are people.
But Desi was on the show.
right?
Desi wasn't behind the scenes.
Lucy. What's Desi's character's name? I'm forgetting
Ricky.
now. Ricky what?
Ricardo.
Ricardo.
man.
So she was Lucy Ricardo.
Right.
But in real life, she's Lucille Ball.
Right. Which was a fake name anyway.
Right. But Lucy.
She wouldn't even take his last name.
Here's the thing. It goes.
Can't stand her.
Most actresses don't take their husband's last names.
Whatever.
But anyway, his real name is Desi Arnaz.
Right.
But you're watching Ricky Ricardo.
Right.
We give audiences way too much leeway and think that they're intelligent. They're not. Carl Reiner was brilliant by
You
calling.
think because Lucy, they used her first name in the show?
That's what makes a star. When they were trying to
I'll accept that.
When they were trying to do the Dick Van Dyke Show, for the longest time they couldn't figure out the name of the show. They came like Double Trouble, this and that. Finally, Carl Reiner went, "We've got a star of a show that nobody knows. We got to call it the Dick Van Dyke Show."
And
His
he's
character-
Rob Petrie.
He's Rob Petrie.
Right, that's hysterical.
It's the same, and I
It's
know
branding.
This,
It's
right.
I'm Chevy Chase and you're not.
Exactly, but it's the same. Even if you look at, and I know it's controversial now, the Cosby Show. His name is not Cosby in it. He's Dr. Huxtable.
It's a great point.
But it's the
It's a really
Cosby.
great
It's
point,
the
man.
Cosby Show. So the same with I Love Lucy. It's really the Lucy Show,
Well, no, she had the Lucy show too, and that was awful.
right? But you know what? I've read.
She sounded like this through the whole thing.
Well,
Ethel.
I've also read Carol Burnett's one of her biographies.
Mrs. Ricardo.
Yeah, but she was good
Love that
friends
guy.
with Lucille Ball.
Who?
Carol Burnett.
Okay, yeah.
And Carol Burnett said
redheads.
that when they were, she was sitting with her at lunch one time, and Lucy was, I think it was the Lucy Show, and she was going, I got to give it to the Cuban. When he was around, all I had to do was show up, the scripts were ready to go, and if there was a problem, he was the heavy. And everyone went, geez, isn't Desi tough, but isn't Lucy nice?
Right.
Now that she's running the show,
Well, and I
he
heard she
wasn't-
was awful too, though. I mean, I heard
Well,
she was awful.
Well, who knows? Who knows? When you were really
All
there.
I'm saying is,
Yeah.
I think it's a great point that it's the Lucille Ball show,
Right.
And but he produced it, and he was in it, and he was great in it.
Right, and
was
he made
great in it,
sure.
plus with his talent,
But he made sure she was great as well. You know what I mean? By making sure the stories
she was
were
the
good.
ticket, but he was the brains.
Yeah, but he also played into the talent that she has.
That's what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean. She was
yeah,
the ticket, like
yeah.
her talent. Because I mean, like she was in Three Stooges movies, and she had been kicking around for a while.
Right. I mean, she was.
I just don't see her as brilliant.
well,
Like, okay, the Vitamita Benjamin,
Yeah.
that is unbelievable, hysterical.
Right.
The conveyor belt
chocolate
thing
bill?
is hysterical.
Yeah.
What else?
I don't know. I can go.
There were
through
1,000 episodes of that TV show.
Here's one that I love.
they-
When they
they-
go,
sorry.
when they go to Europe, and she gets arrested. I think they're in Italy. No, they're in France.
Yeah.
Do you remember this
And
bit?
they also get arrested in
They get
Hollywood.
she gets arrested all the time. I love
That's
all
what
the
I
stuff
mean.
in
That
Hollywood.
chick caused him so much trouble.
Right. When she ruins in Hollywood, when she ruins John Wayne's
Right. Handprints.
handprints, that's brilliant.
And
how
Harpo
much she
Marx.
has the Harpo Marx stuff, all the stuff in
that was
in
a copy
Hollywood
of a
is-
Marx Brothers movie. Come on, that's not brilliant.
which
That's
is great.
copy.
Is that Duck Soup
I don't remember.
or Day at the Races? Anyway,
Not Day at the Races.
It's not Day at the Races.
That was early.
I think it
an
must be
early one.
Duck Soup.
Yeah, or Monkey Business.
I thought Monkey Business was later.
Is
Anyway,
it the one in the hotel? It's the one in the hotel. Coconuts. No.
I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot. Go see your Marx
Let's
Brothers
just stay
movies.
here.
Yeah.
First of all, they are the best. The Marx Brothers, to me, are the best form of anarchistic comedy I have ever seen in my life, both
So
physically and
So you think they're
and
better than the
dialogue.
Three Stooges?
Oh, yeah, man.
Really?
Oh, man.
Interesting.
If you want subversion,
I have trouble because I'm like I like them both.
really,
But did the Three Stooges not really get a shot because they were doing shorts, where Marx Brothers were doing?
well,
long
I think
form?
like what
and we'll get into the topic of today that we're actually going to talk about. But
I don't think there needs to be. I think this is a beautiful conversation.
it's a beautiful
man.
conversation. But eventually, we wanted
yeah,
to get
we'll get to before
summer blockbuster
before midnight,
movies.
and my
Yeah,
computer literally turns into
turns
a pumpkin.
off. Yeah,
No, I think the Marx Brothers were the greatest. By the time they had gotten to film, they had conquered Broadway.
right.
Before they had conquered Broadway, they had conquered vaudeville.
Vaudeville, yeah.
Before they had conquered vaudeville, they had learned and trained how to become classical musicians. As just like and they were on stage since they were like 3. So by the time they were all 25, they'd had 20 years experience.
There's a story of, I think it was Groucho, Harpo, and Chico were waiting for.
Respect on Chico.
I'm sorry.
Respect on the Chico
Accent
pronunciation.
Yeah.
because most people say Chico.
Yeah, it's Chico.
Yeah, Chico, because he was good with the chicks.
mm.
You know, name them.
Wasn't it an old? Oh, wasn't it?
Their uncle.
Really? But
Yeah.
but these were all names in an old comic book, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have.
There
A
was-
couple of them were. I think.
Well, I think there was Groucho, Harpo, Chico, Zeppo, and they had an
Gummo.
older brother, Gummo. Yeah, and they were all from
Yeah,
a
like some
comic
local
book.
thing, but like
But his uncle was
Chico was good with the chicks.
So they called him
Everybody
Chico.
thought he was Chico and thought he was Mexican,
right.
but he always played an Italian.
That's the funniest thing. Yeah.
He's again unsung hero. That guy, good lord, with dialogue, you could give that guy anything and he could make it interesting.
Yep.
And then you put him on a piano. I mean, are you kidding me?
He was brilliant on the piano, but so was Harpo.
Oh my
Harpo
goodness!
Harpo could play.
Have you ever
anything.
seen him play "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"?
I think so. It's been a
Almost
long
makes me
time.
cry every time.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
So there was a story about them. I think they were waiting for a meeting with the head of Universal, or it might have been Columbia. I can't remember. And the guy was late. So they broke into his office, took off all their clothes, and started roasting marshmallows for some reason. I
Right.
think so 3 naked brothers, and he walks in and was so pissed off. It's brilliant.
Yeah, anarchists, dude. They
yeah.
were anarchists.
Well, I told you what I think I said this on a podcast before with you of what Groucho said when someone asked him about Harpo, what Harpo was like, and he said, "What do you say about a nice man?"
Right.
And it's just like that's kind of a sweet thing.
Yeah. Harpo, dude. Everybody loves Curly. Everybody loves Harpo.
All right, but like here's the thing: everybody talks about Curly, and Curly's my favorite. I think he's everybody's favorite in a lot of ways. But what about Shemp?
I love Shemp.
Shemp's was the original
Yeah.
third Stooge.
And was like, Shemp was the
completely
original David Caruso.
How so?
Like,
Ripped off his glasses
yeah,
and
and was like, I can do better on my own.
yeah. I thought he just didn't like it.
No, man, he wanted to do it solo.
Oh yeah.
Like, get paid more. You don't have to run around. Like, you don't love your 3 brothers, but
But here's the thing. So you have Mo. Mo, it's an interesting conversation. So you got Mo, who is the leader archetype, right?
Right.
You've got Groucho.
and
He was
oddly looks
also-
like Hitler of that time without the mustache. Like,
a little bit
that's like looks like a dictator.
for a small Jewish guy. Yes.
Right.
But Groucho is also the leader archetype. In
Mm-hmm.
every movie they did, he's the leader. Whether he's Captain Spaulding, whether he's Dr. Hackenbush,
Right.
all of those.
Quackenbush, right?
I thought it was Hackenbush.
You're probably right. Yeah, like I can't argue your fucking knowledge.
Well, what are you gonna do? It depends. Or I just say it like with a lot of authority.
Yeah,
So-
Rufus T. Firefly.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's always
He's always an expert of whatever.
He's the lead.
Yeah.
He's the lead.
So does that make Harpo and Curly the comedic foil, or just sort of the wild cards?
But
'Cause
they're
what's Larry?
they're also part of a triangle. They're not. It's not like you can argue Costello was like Curly, and you kind
Yeah.
of like Costello the same way you like Curly, and
Right.
you like Harpo. But
Is it because they're the ones getting
but
the
he
laugh
was like
lines?
he
or-
actually acted like a little boy.
Who? Costello?
Costello.
Well, yeah.
He
He
like
literally said, "I'm a bad
Yeah.
boy."
where Curly and Harpo
Mm-hmm.
acted like
Children as adults.
right, but
Adult
without
children.
without ever coming across to me,
Mm-hmm.
without ever coming across as what's the word, obnoxious.
Right. Because at the end of the day, they were both still going for women in their
Right,
respective
right.
things. So it's like, even though they're acting like children, it's like, oh, a girl. Or like Harpo was just going to put his leg up on a woman. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Or
So it's
grab
like-
a leg and-
Right, exactly.
Or,
So,
or literally chase them, whistle and chase them through.
Right, and just honk a horn.
Right.
Right. Would that be considered offensive today? Like all that stuff?
I don't think people would understand it.
Right.
I
Is
think
that objectifying women? Because people are so... We were sort of talking a little bit off mic. We won't get into that. But of how offended people have gotten over every little... Like any little thing that...
I think
And I understand the times that we're in and...
what I wanted to bring up is what has perplexed me an incredible amount lately is why the conversation and comments and the most interest comes from box office. And that people keep track of box office budget,
Right.
marketing strategies.
I find it interesting. Like, I know I look at it all.
Don't you think it negatively affects almost every time you go into a movie that you have that much knowledge or that you have that much understanding about everything other than what you're about to watch?
Well, I look at all like the box office and how much the movie costs and whatnot after I've seen the movie. So I don't walk into a movie going, this 250 and sometimes you can't help but hear it.
Right.
Like you walk into Batman v Superman, and I promise we won't do another Batman v Superman, but you know that it costs $250 million, and you know that prints and advertising, the rules usually double whatever your cost was. So you're going $500 million. I hope it's good. Arms crossed. I hope it's good. And if you're watching, going, geez, that was $500 million. Give me $500 million. I'll show you how Batman and Superman should act.
Did you go in there knowing that it was already getting lambasted? Did you have?
I saw Sad Affleck and some of that stuff, and I went, I don't care. I went in as a grown man at the age of 29, I think, in a Superman costume, ready to go. With a Superman t-shirt underneath for when that got too hot in the movie theater.
But you still needed to represent.
Yeah, because I loved those characters. And I was like, I can't wait. And I knew in the first 5 minutes. The fact that they killed Bruce Wayne's parents again, I was like, oh, this is not going to be good.
Yeah, but they had to set up Martha, man.
They did. I also think, and we'll get into this news because we were talking about Comic-Con. Take it back. We were going to touch on Comic-Con a little bit. And I guess we can start with the Flash news that came out of Comic-Con, which is that the Flash movie, standalone film, which has had a lot of trouble just in getting off the ground. It had Phil Lord and Chris Miller. They hopped that boat and went to Han Solo. That did not work out for them. Then there was another director, I can't remember who, Fukunaga, I believe was the director. He got out for creative differences, so they scrapped everything, and now they're doing Flashpoint, which is a seminal comic book about Barry Allen, who is the Flash, going back in time, saving his mother from dying from the Reverse Flash, who kills his mom, and that changes the future. And what changes is, and I think I've told you this before, you keep shaking your head. What's wrong?
I'm already going to sleep.
Dude, it's a great story.
Already? You know too friggin' much about it, dude. First of all, they're going back in time. Ridiculous.
The Flash,
Get your powers.
The Flash can go back in time, though.
Man.
He runs so fast, he can break the time
Okay,
barrier.
so you're telling me, and we've had this argument.
Yes.
You're telling me you're not for Superman going back in time, right?
I'm not. Wait, from the original Superman movie? I am fine with. No, that's not. Hold on.
Everybody post that movie in the subsequent years has lost their mind about him going back in time. And I always thought, even as a kid, I always wanted Superman and the Flash to race because I always thought they would always finish tied.
Here's the thing.
I don't think the Flash is faster than Superman.
Let me speak to both of those things. First of all, in Superman the movie, Superman did not go back in time. He reversed time. Totally.
What's the difference?
The difference is, someone traveling through time to a destination in the past.
What's the difference?
Like,
if Superman wanted to, he could have done it. He just, for whatever reason, didn't give himself that much time to recorrect history.
But here's the thing.
He only went back a certain amount of time.
How many
he
time
could
travel
go back
movies?
In time.
How many
he could
time
probably
travel
go back
movies?
in time and save and tell Alan. Is it Alan Kent? Who was his dad?
Alan Kent?
What's his dad's name?
Pa Kent.
Pa Kent.
Yeah.
He could have told Pa Kent stop eating so much bacon.
We've talked about this. Yes, I agree. My whole thing is,
I'm just saying he could have went back in time.
I'm fine with
Donner just didn't want to because he thought that was stupid.
I'm fine with a Superman who can time travel.
Okay.
I'm fine with a universe in the DC universe where people can time travel. Just explain it where it makes sense. The Superman one doesn't make sense, not because he travels through time, but because he reversed time. Or, okay, let's just say, for your sake.
Again, how is that different?
He rewound everything that he already did.
Wouldn't the Flash be doing that? He's just doing it like at a faster rate?
No.
He's still running back through time, dude.
All right, just hear me out and don't interrupt me for like one whole minute.
That's going to be tough. You know me.
I know. So, Superman has 2 bombs he has to stop. I can't believe we're on Superman the movie again. It's killing me. Superman has to stop 2 bombs, right? He stops one and he doesn't stop the other.
Missiles, bro.
Missiles, bombs, same thing. He has 2...
Reversing time, going back in time.
He has to stop 2 missiles, right? right?
Right.
He stops one. He doesn't stop the other.
Right.
That causes the avalanche that kills Lois, or the
Right.
mudslide that kills Lois,
Right.
right? So he reverses time, rewinding everything that he did. So the first...
No, that shit. He rewound time in Japan. He rewound the Earth,
Yeah,
bro.
he rewound everything.
I'm a little stony, bro.
So he rewound everything, reversing the missile that he stopped. So now when he goes to help
Right.
Lois, there are still two missiles
I
that
totally agree with you. That's not what I'm saying.
That's what everyone
What I'm
gets
saying
pissed
is-
off about when it comes to reversing time and time travel. We're all fine with him doing it, but what about the other missile? You
No,
undid
man, there are
those
people
things.
who were very upset that he reversed time.
I think, okay, maybe back
It's
in
not just the
1978.
missile thing.
All
No, dude, I'm talking recent stuff.
Okay,
I've
well,
read.
for me, I'm going, it's fine. If he has that
No,
power,
right.
just do it right. Explain how he
I'm saying, like-
saved the world. Anyway, Barry Allen can travel through time because he can run fast enough. Not that he reverses the Earth and spins it back around. He creates a
Same
portal.
concept.
No, it's more like Back to the
Creates
Future.
a portal, man.
It's like Back to the Future
I want to
rules.
create a portal and just have ice cream.
Well, you could if you were fast enough and you were part of the Speed Force, but you're not.
It's a fat joke.
So, it's Back to the Future rules. Just without the car. He is the car. He is the DeLorean.
Right.
He gets up to 88 miles an hour, think of it that way, and travels through time.
Ridiculous.
He goes back to the
Ridiculous.
point
Ridiculous.
where the seminal...
Like they're just portals waiting for him because of his speed. He can find this portal.
He's part of the Speed Force.
Ridiculous.
That's his power.
Ridiculous. The power is he's part of a group.
No,
Was
no,
he
no, no,
Spice Girl?
No. The Speed Force is not a
Man,
group.
I wish I had better references.
Yeah,
Destiny's Child?
No, still too old.
Black Keys? I'm getting
You're getting closer. You'll get there one day.
Chance the Rapper's Band?
Yeah, he's thinking of One Direction. Anyway, speaking of Dunkirk, you like that
man.
movie.
That was the best movie I
I
saw.
know, sorry. I didn't mean to get you on that. Second of all, to my other point, in Superman, the animated series, which
Here we
I've
go
talked
with
about,
that.
Superman and the Flash do have a race. And it's called...
That's an animated series, dude.
Yeah, but it's the two characters racing.
Oh,
and that's
my bad.
Yeah, so they are racing each other for charity. And
that
while
don't count.
while they're on... But they're really competing with each other. And Flash, which is Wally West Flash, is kind of a dick going like, all right, you can try and keep up. So...
Like the turtle versus the hare.
A little bit, but Flash is running. Like, who's running across the world? I think they have to circle the Earth 7 times.
Did they...
Superman is flying the whole time.
Right.
So it's a runner versus a flyer, I guess. But they're evil bad guys who sort of get in the way of their race and sort of screw it up. So they have to, like, stop, save it, stop the bad guy, and then at the end they're like...
But that's Cannonball Run.
Essentially. Which is a good movie.
You're with Dom DeLuise. If Dom DeLuise would have shut up in your cartoon...
He has shown up in a lot of cartoons. He was a prolific voice actor. What are you talking about?
That's exactly what I mean.
He was in Fievel. An American Tail. And Fievel Goes West.
It's true, he did. He didn't find much there.
No.
No happiness, no peace.
No.
Just a bunch of rundown ruins and a lifetime of regret.
So anyway, the Flash news is they're doing Flashpoint, which, as I think I told you before...
Friggin' lame, dude. Plus electricity, friggin'
It's not
lame,
electricity,
dude.
yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway,
What is it?
I'm not explaining this to you.
It's
'cause
friggin'
you know what?
lightning.
Go
It's
back
lightning.
go back onto iTunes
Lightning's
and listen to
electricity,
what I've
bro.
told you before. And you, the viewers or listeners, can also go on iTunes and listen to old episodes
Yeah.
of the Preppy and the Stoner.
You'll be like,
podcast.
holy crap. The Stoner's fucking right on 2 different podcasts. I
He
can't
doesn't-
believe it.
It's not a podcast, episodes. But anyway, here's the only thing
Well,
I'll
an
tell you
episode
about.
of a podcast.
Here's what I will tell you about Flashpoint, and then we will move off.
Sorry,
of this
I'm in an
subject.
Andy Kaufman like.
You really are.
state where I'm just entertaining myself. I'm very entertained by this. I'm sorry.
So,
Flashpoint. Who
Jeffrey Dean
cares?
Morgan plays Thomas Wayne in Batman v Superman and gets killed, right? Pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty big
The
actor.
comedian.
Yeah, pretty big actor for someone. And I can't remember the young lady who's also on The Walking Dead.
I
who,
think it was Mauve Adams.
Okay,
I have no idea. I made that
All right.
up.
Anyway, but she plays Martha, right? Martha Wayne. So in Flashpoint, because
He's gonna go try to save Martha.
No, just hear me out and stop interrupting me for like 2 seconds. The Flash goes back in time, stops his mom from dying, but it causes a ripple effect across the entire world, right? Time changes because that was not supposed to happen.
Okay.
So, instead of Thomas and Martha
I'm
Wayne
bored
dying,
again.
just listen to me.
Bruce Wayne dies.
Bruce Wayne dies.
Yeah, you've explained
so
this,
Thomas
man.
Wayne becomes
explained
Batman,
this.
and Martha Wayne becomes the Joker.
Ridiculous.
It's awesome. And
No.
you've got these great... Like, don't you want to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan as the Batman?
No,
It's
man.
going to be brilliant.
You know what I want to see?
I don't care.
I
I don't care what you
want to see Batman and Robin.
No.
Why?
Which
What was
Batman?
wrong with-
You mean with
I
George
just
Clooney
mean, like-
and Chris?
No, I don't want to see a repeat of a bad movie.
No, you want to see a repeat
like
of
I
a
don't
Joel
want to
Schumacher
see.
movie.
I don't want to see the Flash created a ripple in time and change 9.
Do
It's
yourself a
ridiculous,
favor
dude.
and
Ridiculous.
and buy
Why do
the
you know this
because
stuff,
there's an animated
bro?
movie called Flashpoint Paradox, which is the whole story.
You
or it's
saw
not
it?
yeah, it's brilliant. I
So
own
they're
it.
stealing the ideas from cartoons. They're not even taking it from comic books.
No,
the comic books have 70
the
years
cartoon
to
stole
80
it from a
years.
comic book. The
Yeah,
comic book
they're,
came
they're
first.
copying the cartoon because everybody saw the cartoon, didn't read the comic book. It's lame, dude.
No, who's the head
And I
of
like the Flash. I loved the Flash growing up.
who's the head of DC?
Dick Cavett.
No, what? Oh, you are alright. I'm forgetting his name.
Kevin Hetero.
No, stop. All right, you know what?
Come on, that's
We're
a
gonna-
good one.
No, that's not.
Kevin Hetero.
We're gonna stop. Stop, please. All right. Do you want to still talk Comic Con or do you can?
No,
I can't.
man.
All right. Let's just get into the movies. We did a whole Wonder Woman episode and we
It
lost
was good.
it.
It's
It's in the lost episodes. So I think I remember saying something really profound and changing your mind on
Yes.
it. I can't remember what
You
that
saw
was.
it with your mom and your sister.
And my dad.
And
yeah.
but your mom and your sister were really, really inspired by it and really, really appreciated and enjoyed it.
My mom, maybe not so much. She thought, yeah, it's a fine movie. It was
Right.
good. My sister was really excited to see a female superhero and
Yeah.
was in the movie going like pew pew as like she had the wrist bracelets on and
That's a little weird.
she just.
I'm
But
just kidding.
but hey, look,
That's awesome.
You're,
No, I mean,
taking
like-
from a man who dressed as Superman to
With
go
the
in
Superman shirt
underneath for Batman v Superman.
And we'll argue the merits of Nancy Meyers movies.
I love Nancy Meyer movies. Go out and see it. In fact,
Easily my favorite thing in the history of the world.
yeah, easily my favorite thing in the history of the world. They're great movies.
It's inexplicable to me. Inexplicable.
Hey, look, we have a Twitter and an email and a Facebook. You can we'll talk about those at the end of the episode. But write to us if you are a
Please,
man who enjoys
please try
Nancy Meyer
to.
movies.
I'm trying not to be judgmental. I'm trying not to be.
Have
like,
you watched
"Heh,
them?"
heh, heh." Yeah, dude, they're all awful.
All right, well, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know, man. Like I tried to watch them, but it's complicated.
Dude, something's got to give with this. I swear.
Holiday.
You're more like the intern. Here's the thing.
Exactly.
You have watched Suicide Squad. You said again the other night.
Yeah.
You watched the same 2 terrible movies.
Okay, so
over
here's
and
what I
over
do. Like
again.
I put them on and I fall asleep, but I will watch like a good 45
Is this
minutes.
just an Ambien for you? That's all that
yeah.
these movies are?
Because, like I said,
Get another
again,
movie.
I said with Suicide Squad, and yeah, because I have Hulu, I have HBO Go, I have Netflix.
This is a man who has not watched any of Rick and Morty
I have
yet,
like
right?
100.
Have you watched any Rick and
No.
Morty yet? You're a fool. As a stoner, you should watch Rick and Morty because
Man,
it's brilliant.
I ain't got time to invest in new stuff.
Pickle Rick! all the listeners who watch Rick and Morty will understand Pickle Rick.
Yeah,
okay?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you don't watch Game of Thrones. You are
70 hours behind, man.
You are stuck.
I'm 70 hours behind.
But you have HBO.
Yeah.
Just start.
And time.
It's worth it. The books are worth it. The
Nah,
books are
dude.
good. The show is good.
Nah,
Everything's
man.
good.
Dude, ever since the 8th ending on Lord of the Rings of
You're
Return
done.
of the King,
Yeah.
not done, but like satisfied, completely satisfied with that realm of fiction.
Speaking of Andy Serkis, another movie you and I both saw
Yeah.
was War for the Planet of the Apes.
Oh man, did I love that movie.
I thought it was a great movie.
Loved it.
Well, as I called it, and I think I told you, it's Monkey Moses. And
Right.
we're gonna spoil. Oh, by the
Right.
way, I'll give you 5 seconds. We're gonna spoil all the movies that we've seen this
Yeah.
summer, whether you've seen them or not. So if this is not for you, turn it off. Go see these movies and then come back.
Yeah,
So,
or like go forward in the podcast. Maybe we're done talking about that stuff and we've probably segued onto something bizarre and weird, and you
Or
might
we're back
wanna
onto
listen to that.
Superman. I'm sorry. So we're gonna talk right now in 5,
Flashpoint.
4, 3, 2, 1. War for the Planet of the Apes.
Oh man,
Monkey Moses.
yeah,
Here's the thing. I saw Dawn. I've seen all of them. I've
Yes.
seen Rise, Dawn, and now War. I would say Dawn had more war in it than
Yeah.
this movie. This was more like captive of the Planet of the Apes.
yeah.
Because they were in bondage essentially. They were all captured, and then it was really
And they were
it was
captured
really-
by an off faction of the army. It wasn't
Right.
It wasn't an actual human versus ape war.
Right.
It was this psycho. It was
this General Kurtz-esque.
yeah, exactly.
Militant,
right.
off-brand.
Who, ironically enough, had the same tragedy as the main ape.
Right.
So, like, that was my biggest problem with it, was that it wasn't worry,
Yeah.
and that it wasn't man. It wasn't the strategy of man versus ape,
Right. It wasn't
which
like
I thought would have been
it
brilliant
wasn't
to
the
see.
war is on. We're gonna see all the fighting. It was really more the Great Escape with the apes in bondage,
Yeah.
and then literally Caesar, or as I call him, Monkey Moses, leads them to the Promised
Right.
Land.
And
before
World
he
War
gets
Z in it,
yeah,
basically. The disease
Well,
attacks
the simian flu,
honkies.
the simian flu or the simian virus that gave the apes their intelligence is also reverting humans into
Apes.
well, essentially what apes were.
Right.
So now they're humans who can't speak. They're regressing. So as the apes are evolving into smarter creatures, the humans are devolving essentially, switching places. Because in the first movie, in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, they mention how these astronauts have gone to space. So since these are prequels, we're essentially getting to the Charlton Heston Planet
Right.
of the Apes.
Amazing. I mean, brilliant.
Right. So basically,
all three of them brilliant.
the assumption is that at some point, those astronauts are going to come back and go, what happened here? And we've seen what's happened is Caesar grew an army. He became this Monkey Moses leader and saved the apes as the simian virus devolved all the humans. That's why when we get to Charlton Heston, he's going, why don't the humans talk? I don't understand. Who is this Dr. Zaius? Why can all the apes talk? So
Dr.
it's
Zaius,
interesting.
Dr. Zaius.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Dr. Zaius. Yeah.
Can I play the piano anymore? Why, of course you can. Well, I couldn't before. That's from the Planet of the Apes musical from The Simpsons.
One of my favorites ever.
It's such a good...
And like it was always funny to me too. And
I hate every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. It's so good. Oh,
yeah, it was incredible.
And Bart to just sit there going, this musical has everything. Like, it's so good. Oh, I love it.
My favorite line of the whole series: "Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes."
Yeah.
I asked my buddy if he wanted to see it, and my buddy's got a great cynical attitude. And I was like, "Do you want to see Rise of the Planet of the Apes?" And he's like, "I never see a movie with two of those in the title." I always just thought that was my favorite line I've
That's
ever
so
heard.
funny.
With two of those.
Rise of
But
the-
yeah, War of the Planet. Well, I think for the thing that
it just tickles me. That's
it's
great.
great, isn't it?
Rise of the Planet of the
right. Is and I think that was the more of the surprise of Rise of the Planet of the Apes was how great Caesar was.
Yeah, Andy Serkis is brilliant.
But also the technology. It was like
And
that
it
to me
gets
was like
better.
the peak. Exactly. That was the peak of what I felt like CGI was trying to accomplish, and then finally was able to really nail in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and then conquered in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and perfected in War for the Planet of the Apes.
And I don't know who did the
It was
CGI.
just
on
Mike.
that. I'm
Mike
sorry.
did it. Mike did it.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah,
He's
you
great.
know Mike.
But I wonder if that's also through Weta.
I think it is. I could be dead wrong, but I think it is.
And I have no idea. But also, I mean, Andy Serkis was
King Kong.
Was Kong
Yeah.
in the King Kong remake that Peter Jackson did. So that guy's worked a lot with studying apes and ape movement and how they do things. And that's
and also
was
working
great.
with Weta and knowing exactly how to transform what they need
What the motion
into what he's
capture
been
is.
able to.
Yeah.
He's one of the
brilliant.
most amazing things in the history of the world.
Yeah.
And then to create the performances as well, like Gollum. Like
brilliant.
he's the only, not the only reason, but he is the main reason to me why Lord of the Rings was what it was was because he created such two diverse characters that are the only thing in between Frodo and saving the world.
He's what you want Harvey Two-Face to be.
Right.
Two distinct, different personalities.
Right.
But yeah.
But I mean, like, and then the brilliance of being able to put that into a scene where he's talking to himself in the water.
In the water.
I mean,
but that's direction. So
that's
brilliant.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
But also be able to create, like, because he was doing it. He was still
not only that,
doing it.
He did it live.
That's what I
on
mean.
the day, and
Right.
then he had to redub everything.
Right.
So imagine doing your performance not only for 3 years in New Zealand for
Right.
3 movies, but then to go back and redo the whole
And
thing.
I believe it was in Peter Jackson's apartment in London.
I believe that
they recorded.
I'm sure
that they recorded his dialogue. I could be way wrong, but
so I really liked War for the Planet of the Apes.
Same.
I thought it was great.
And like it's that crazy thing too, where you're rooting for the apes the entire time.
Yeah.
Like they're so infinitely more emotional and relatable
Now,
than
let me
the
ask you
humans.
this: is that because?
And it was also a lot of Logan in it.
What do you mean? How so?
Saving the little girl
Oh,
who doesn't friggin' talk.
you're talking about like a little girl who doesn't talk, and an old warrior who's
Trying to find-
on his last
Right.
mission, essentially.
Right.
You said you didn't like Logan, though.
I'm bored, senseless.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a perfect way for that character to go out.
Awful.
Loved
Not
it
at
all.
all. Like, he should have went out in a fight, dude. He should have went out in a fight where, like, he was with.
He did go out in a fight. He fought himself, literally. The only complaint I have, and again, spoilers for Logan, at the very end was he killed the doctor. You know when he shoots the doctor in the head?
Forgot
You
it when
forgot?
I was watching it.
And then Boyd Holbrook, that actor, the guy with the hand,
Yeah.
he's killed by the kids. I thought it should have
Right.
been reversed. I thought that since the doctor is the one who
Made
all the kids, I thought the kids killing him would have been more justice. And then the guy who's been pursuing Logan the whole time, if he just cut him up. So,
Yeah, I just.
dude, when the little girl takes the cross and turns it over to an X, you didn't tear up?
No.
You are heartless. You will tear
I
up.
think I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt I am not heartless. I cried during Snakes on a Plane, dude.
Oh my God, what is wrong with? Well,
I haven't said this?
No, you haven't. I haven't even seen it.
It's horrible great.
Right.
It's horrible great, dude.
Speaking of sort of horrible great, I saw Hitman's Bodyguard.
Don't you want to hear my
Oh, sorry.
story?
Go ahead, please tell me your story
I don't
about
want to tell
Snakes
it.
on a Plane.
No, I don't want to tell it.
All right. What? By the way, we really just blew over Wonder Woman. One, not because we don't like the movie, but
Yeah,
because
we're misogynists.
well, that and no, we're not. No, I think because we did an entire episode on it.
Yeah,
and it's
and it was a
gone,
great
And it was a
episode.
good episode.
Yeah,
and I wish-
Wonder Woman. Here's the deal to me.
Yeah.
If I can encapsulate it very
Please.
quickly, and I will try in my stoner way.
Yeah.
It was amazingly successful.
Yes.
And it just didn't suck. It wasn't good, but it didn't suck. And that woman, I shouldn't say it like that. And Gal Gadot is so unbelievably beautiful,
Right.
and so unbelievably
Charming.
Yeah, just
She has an it factor.
but she's
yeah.
she's not a good actress, and that movie was not well written.
I don't know.
And that movie was, you talk about again. My biggest beef with it was there's a tear in the universe, and y'all don't really are prepared.
So I'm gonna
Really,
tell you,
you guys
my
aren't prepared for ships.
Thing. Right.
You
They've
live,
never seen them.
Come on, dude.
Okay,
you
well,
live on
whatever.
You live on an island. You have 18 different points of strategy, seeing from all 365 degrees is 360.
Oh my
360
God.
degrees.
365 days degrees.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I can't trust you when you're this high.
I'm just saying.
Some of the
dude.
things you have said today.
No, I'm
are
just. I wasn't that far off. I didn't
No.
say like 380. It was 365. It's a common mistake.
Is it?
I've got Mr. Chocolate and Mr. Peanut Butter in my head, and one said years and the other said degrees, and I just put them both together. No, so they had a 360 degree angle view of any. They're warriors. Are you nuts? They're warriors.
So?
They weren't prepared for the incoming attack. That's ludicrous.
They've never seen guns before. They were kicking ass before those guys started shooting.
Ridiculous.
Anyway,
They had nothing prepared
Here's
for an
what I think.
armada.
one, I think
They're an island. Get out of here.
I think Gal Gadot is a good actress.
Yeah, I think she's a movie star. I don't think she's an actress.
Okay, and
Because I've seen her in other things, and
we've debated.
she's very pretty in her movies.
We've debated that as well. What makes the difference between an actor and have we debated this
Yeah,
before?
I think we discussed it. I don't know if we
or
debated
not
it.
debated it. I guess discussed it. Of there are certain people who are movie stars.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about they do them better than anybody. Like
Tom Cruise is a movie star.
Will Smith is a movie star. Tom Cruise
George
is harder.
Clooney's a movie star.
Yeah, and they do that harder than anybody else. Chris Pine was Chris Pining in this movie harder than anybody else was Chris Pining.
Oh man, he went above and beyond the Pine.
The Pine. So here's my assessment of Wonder Woman. I think it's the best entry into the DC cinematic universe so far, comparatively to the other ones.
I thought Man of Steel was a better movie.
I like Man of Steel, but this was more fun. Like again, we've talked so much about...
What am I, at a friggin' playground?
No, but we've talked about how Superman is just so
emo.
And
He's emo.
So Wonder Woman basically had what you kind of want from your Superman, which again I've heard from other people say, like, or I've heard from specific women say, why do you have to characterize it like that? Like, why does because Wonder Woman is fun? Why do you have to go? Oh, geez, I wish Superman was like that.
Well, people were saying that before Wonder Woman came out.
Right.
Well, no, here's the deal, man. For some reason or another, for movie departments, it really works to pit men against women. Yeah. And it worked for like the Sex and the City movies, and they know how to specifically, it seems, how to advertise to women. And this, I think, goes across the board with media. It's not just films, but it seems to be much more prevalent in films now. Mm-hmm. Girls can do this.
Right.
This movie made more money than Batman.
Well, look, and we talked about
it goes
this.
back to the box office. Like, the box office somehow determines that this is a better movie, and people loved it. Like, it was a great movie.
And I think we talked about this on the episode that we lost. Was I think this is where I tried to convince you of saying no. It has nothing to do with box office, because I don't believe Warner Brothers put as much advertising dollars into this movie as they did Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. And they still made more money per marketing dollar and per investment in Wonder Woman than they did the other two. And they were surprised by it. And I think they were surprised by it because they didn't sort of realize that here is a character who's been around for 75 years, just as long as Batman, just as long as Superman.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Where do you get your information? Mm-hmm. And do you really believe, is it speculation on what you believe the studio to be thinking? Or you do know this? And I'm not trying to be insulting.
No, I know what you're talking about.
I'm legitimately trying to. This is exactly what I mean.
I listen to a lot of podcasts about movies and stuff like that. Multiple have said, "Hey, look, in the trades and through and I'm listening to people." So
it's all speculation.
Technically, but all of it's speculation.
So, because what doesn't account for that narrative is the fact that they probably used as many outlets as, say, Superman versus Batman
v Superman.
But it doesn't cost the same to do it on The View and all these different female outlets as it does to do it for baseball games, football games, predominantly male things. It's not so much that they're doing it at different outlets. They're spending more money in the outlets that they're using.
But here's the thing. There's also the eyeball test. I remember when Suicide Squad came out and when Batman v Superman Squad came out, that there were posters and billboards everywhere. And we live in LA. Like, everywhere in this town. And for months before it came out, I didn't start seeing Wonder Woman stuff until maybe 2 weeks before.
But that's what I'm saying it doesn't mean that it wasn't out. It wasn't in the places. No, it wasn't in the places where you watch TV.
I'm talking about physical posters and billboards around a town that is built on movies.
Right, because that's probably where the male eye goes. So that's where they're marketing. I'm saying in places where you probably don't go, there were probably Wonder Woman advertisements.
I watch Nancy Meyers films, okay?
Yeah.
I'm there.
You didn't see any trailers.
I didn't see any
trailers. Do you
trailers.
understand what I'm saying, though?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't know where
Well,
your
you're being
facts
dismissive.
where your facts are coming from either.
What I'm saying,
Yours
my
is-
facts are
yours
coming
is
from
speculation
because
as
you
well.
say you didn't see it.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they weren't
That it
spending
wasn't
money
there.
and that they weren't marketing.
Right.
It just wasn't to the like.
But where do the rumors come from? Look, there are rumors.
It's all speculation from the press.
There's speculation. Okay, so Warner Brothers has come out saying that the Justice League movie, which we've talked about, is doing reshoots. Which all movies do reshoots. They shoot the whole movie and then they look back and they go, okay, we need this scene, redo this. Blah, 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 blah,
What's
blah,
the
blah.
most? What's the most money a film has spent on reshoots?
I have no idea.
Okay,
But
it's
from
like
what I've-
$40 million for Justice League, from what I've heard.
I heard
Or something
25
like
million,
that.
but
Yeah.
but a number that is much higher than you would expect,
Right.
or that, from what I've heard from the rumor mill, is that you don't spend that much on reshoots. I've heard they've thrown out the entire third act and they're redoing it. They're changing almost all of Cyborg's character in that movie to lighten him up.
You mean like because he's so dark, black?
No, I don't mean that.
Okay.
I mean his actual character is
I just
not
want to make you
fun.
uncomfortable. I'm
It's
sorry.
all good. Because who were we talking about? The gentleman from T2.
Robert Patrick,
No.
the guy who created inadvertently created Skynet.
Skynet, who's also
Cyborg's dad.
Cyborg's dad. He came out recently going, oh yeah, we've been doing massive reshoots, changing a lot. So you're hearing it from actors, but then the studio's telling you, no, it's not that much. They've got a lot of money invested in this. I've heard that Darkseid was supposed to be pop in at the end of this movie. And they went, nah, save that for another movie. So now they're pumping back up Steppenwolf, who is the bad guy in this movie.
But what a musician! What
He's
a band!
great. He really is.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So here's this.
So
This
we
goes
got
back to what I was saying earlier
Wonder
about.
Woman, or
Well, both Wonder Woman marketing and like, why do we know about reshoots? Why do we know? Why does that matter to you?
'cause that's why this podcast exists, is because I think more than just you and I talking about movies, a lot of people are interested in. I mean, that's why on DVDs they have the behind the scenes, and this is how it was made. I mean,
But that's all studio garbage, dude.
Yeah, but
Unless,
we're
I do
interested
love
in
the
it.
commentary.
But we're
I love
interested
the
in it.
commentary.
Yeah.
But
But here's the thing: after every Game of Thrones episode, there is an inside look on how they made the
Right.
episode.
right,
Because it's cool.
right. No, I get it.
You see the CGI of how they layer scales on to make a dragon that's not there. You know what I mean? We find that all interesting. The business aspect of it, we also find interesting. I don't know why. There are movies that I like I think we talked about it sort of near the
Do
beginning.
you
of
think
this
you
movie.
would love It's a Mad World as much if you knew every stupid thing about it? Like when you were.
I know a lot about it, and I've
But
watched the
that's because
documentary about
you've
it.
done your research on it, and that's because you
Afterwards.
appreciate you appreciated it and loved it.
Right.
It wasn't something that you could get instant access to every stupid minute detail.
But that's just the
of-
world we live in now. It goes
It's
back.
the
It
world
goes,
we choose to live in.
no, information is just.
Well, no,
readily
because
available.
you said you download, you listen to these podcasts,
Yeah.
like you are actively seeking out that information.
Because I find it interesting.
Totally, I'm not
Right.
discounting that.
No, and you
I'm
find
just
it
saying
interesting.
it's
You
like-
look at that stuff too.
Yeah, but I wish I didn't find it interesting. I wish all we talked about was the merit of the film.
Right.
And that's I don't see Wonder Woman as having a lot of merit as a film.
But how many movies have you seen that box office wise did not do well, and you go, I liked it.
I'd say most of the time.
Yeah. So.
But then again, I went and saw Logan Lucky, and I couldn't have been more bored.
Right. And,
I like literally the first 6 minutes. I'm like, oh,
but that
come
movie
on.
also didn't do well.
No, it should, well, I think it'll break even. They'll make money. Like he knows what he's doing.
Right.
But like what it figured to me too, and then is it hits Netflix and when they're able to set the stream
Right.
or whatever the business end is.
Mm-hmm.
What I saw was like Steven Soderbergh, like 3 minutes before the movie started, I was
Yeah.
sitting there and I was like, the thought hit me. I was like, oh man, I don't like Steven Soderbergh movies. Like I don't like really
Right.
anything this guy's ever done.
Not a big Ocean's anything fan.
I enjoyed it,
Yeah.
but not like I enjoyed it all at home.
Right.
I never paid to see.
Right.
Like I
So
saw
what made
Sex
you-
Lies and Videotape in the theater.
So what made you want to go see Logan Lucky? Because
I like Channing Tatum.
Well, everybody I've talked to goes, that looks amazing, and I was the
Yeah.
one who watched the trailer, feeling like the outsider, going, this doesn't speak to me.
Oh, like Channing Tatum and Adam Driver. I'm like, okay, it'll be kind of an independent feel. Like I did
Right.
kind of like Traffic,
Yeah.
but it's meandering. Like it doesn't. He's much more slower and methodical than my little pea brain can handle.
Right. But then you didn't also. Well, it's a heist.
I didn't like Out of Sight. I didn't like Out of Sight at all, and
Hold on,
everybody said that was.
but
gonna be
Logan
the
Lucky's
best.
a heist movie, right?
Yeah, and I love heist movies. I love.
But you
illegal stuff.
hated Baby Driver, which was
Oh,
click, 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 click.
it was just so. Yeah.
I had mixed feelings with that. I think I also told you off mic.
I just thought it was
that
so
I had
cheesy.
a theater experience that was not great for it. That
For Baby Driver.
Yeah, that affected the viewing of it. It happened in like the first 5 minutes. So
There was a mugging, right?
no, it wasn't a mugging. Basically, I was on a date and we watched the first chase scene in the movie.
She's
and
like, oh my god, there's my ex-boyfriend.
no, we both went, this is awesome. Oh my god, I can't wait for the rest of this movie. And a dude next to the girl I took on the date just went, are you two going to talk through the entire movie? And we weren't, but just if it affected the whole night. Now we're on edge going like, is this guy a little crazy? And then he spoke through the whole movie. I just heard him going, yeah. And he apologized after the end of it, but he did ruin the experience for us.
Right.
So I don't know if that affected my viewing of the movie.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we've talked about before.
But again, also, probably not, because that movie, again, that's one of the things people loved, and I think critics liked it a lot.
Critics
and
liked it? It did well at the
I walked
box
out.
office?
I walked out in the middle
I
of it.
know you did, yeah.
What was the other one I walked out on?
I don't know.
There was one more. But that one, I couldn't wait to get out of there.
I'm just going to say my final thing on Wonder Woman. I liked it on the whole as a movie. I didn't think it broke the superhero genre or did anything new. I think what it really suffered from, and I think I talked about this before, was that Captain America, the first Avenger, got to use World War II, which is it's just a better villain in Nazis and Adolf Hitler.
It's a more distinct villain.
It's a more distinct
It's
villain.
almost the only distinct villain that they've had in any of their in the movies.
In the Marvel movies?
Yeah, I think like Red Skull and World War II.
Well, Loki continually comes back, but he's sort of
he's
a
just like
good guy,
Loki.
bad guy, foil,
Eh.
trickster, whatever.
He's just
but
like
anyway, back to Wonder
somebody's
Woman. I'm
brother.
saying that Wonder Woman suffered. It was interesting to see World War One and to say like, oh, the gas that was actually used in World War One, they're using that as a real thing. My biggest problem with it was just sort of a superhero movie.
It was 300 meets Captain America First
right,
Avenger.
and then the last act with your bad guy, which is Ares. Again, it's another gray bad guy fought at night with smoke and fire,
Destroying the world.
destroying everything.
Right.
Which is every DC movie so far. It's just a big gray hulking bad guy in the middle of the night, smoke and fire. That's all it is. So again, and I think Steppenwolf is going to be a gray guy, smoke and fire in the dark
I
as well.
so wish I remembered one of their songs so I could have sang it at that moment.
I understand.
Yeah, no, it's
But
just,
overall, I like Wonder Woman a lot.
yeah, it was a movie.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
like
can say
Guardians
about it.
Volume 2 as a superhero movie. I
Yeah.
like Wonder Woman. How did you feel about Spider-Man Homecoming?
I thought it was like a Benetton ad.
How so? So you didn't like it, or you did? How much do you like Benetton?
I don't wear their
Oh.
clothes. I don't like their advertising.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So my parents were in Australia at the time, and
Oi.
they saw it before me.
Oi.
And so I was like, guys, how's this bloody movie? Is it good?
He's
and,
like, the little web slinger's
Yeah.
got himself a building to go in.
and my mum went, no, it's not a good movie. I couldn't. It was terrible. And I was like, really? She's like, go see it for yourself. Tell me what you think of it. So my sister and I saw it together Sunday afternoon, which again, I did not think about this. Like a Sunday.
Were you wearing any Spider-Man stuff?
No, I may have been wearing a Spider-Man shirt that my sister got me. I'm not sure.
You guys are the best family I think
Yeah.
I've ever met in my life.
So,
I've only met you.
So,
Not your wonderful, wonderful family who has
yeah.
really great taste in films
They really
and an
do.
appreciation of the arts and an appreciation to share.
My mom and I recently watched
Nancy Meyer's
No,
movie.
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and it's a
Which
brilliant-
one?
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Which one?
What do you mean, which one?
There was two.
No, there's Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and there's Guess Who with Bernie
Coming
Mac.
to Dinner.
I didn't watch the
And
Bernie
Ashton
Mac one.
Kutcher.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one. I have seen that. I saw that one in theaters, but I recently watched Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and it's brilliant.
Really?
It's a brilliant film.
Yeah, you got Tracy and Hepburn.
Tracy and Hepburn, Sidney Poitier,
Yeah.
and Stanley Kramer directing. It's,
Who was the female? the female lead?
It's actually I learned today it's Katharine Hepburn's niece, whose name is Katharine something else. But like
Katharine, not Hepburn.
Not Hepburn. But seriously, I was like, who is this girl? Because she's doing a dead-on Hepburn, sort of like younger Hepburn impression. And I'm like, oh, it's just her niece, and they just have the same, New England.
They just happen to have the
same accent. Well, I can't do this, But it's Spencer Tracy's last movie. That's the other thing.
I didn't know that.
He died 17 days after that movie was done. Hepburn never saw the movie because there's a brilliant. She couldn't watch it. There's the speech that Spencer Tracy gives at the end is everything in that movie. Yeah. And he's talking, even though he's talking to the kids in it, or to Sidney Poitier and the young lady in it.
He's talking to us.
No, he's talking to Katharine Hepburn. Like, it's about love and, sacrifice and all this sort of stuff.
Kind of like us.
Kind of like you and me. No matter how much you fight, you still love each other.
I mean, that's why we fight.
So back to Spider-Man Homecoming. So my mom and dad are like, ugh, it's rough, right? My sister and I, we see it at like, I want to say 12:30 on a Sunday matinee.
Okay.
It is. We go. It's the first or it's the second weekend, or I can't remember when it was, but we're like, there won't be a lot of people. Packed with nothing but like moms and kids on that Sunday matinee. We are in the second row to the far right, so Spider-Man is askew at best.
Yeah, I can't do that.
And I thought, oh, this is gonna ruin it. Completely different than The Baby Driver. Loved every minute of it.
Really?
Loved it. My mom's biggest thing was, he's not a Spider-Man. He was barely a Spider-Boy. I was like, he's 15. He could have had his Spider Bar Mitzvah. Bar Mitzvah. Sorry. I knew it as I said it. You're like, I'm going to correct him on this.
Ding, 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 ding.
So anyway, I thought the suit was great. I thought it was...
Really? Oh, man. I can't be more offended by that suit.
Why?
I can't be more offended by that suit. I can't be more offended by the fact that they use Stark people Tech? They use Stark Tech. B, people can't come to the realization that it makes the most amount of sense that the friggin' web comes out of his body. Right, I don't care
but in
that in 1939, in the original comic book, you're talking about stupid Flashpoint. We're not talking about.
First of all, Flashpoint is from like the early 2000s, but
yeah, not like 1971 or when Flash first came out.
Hey, look, I'm in the same boat as you. The fact that he was bitten by a radioactive spider, he can have webs that shoot out of him.
I'm not even talking could. Should.
But I think it also plays to the fact that
he's a nerd. That some nerd can create an endless amount of webs that can go fine. Like, I thought we've already covered that by he's in the science school nerds thing.
Which is what I also liked about Flash Thompson.
Come on, dude, that was the worst.
That he's a nerd too. Like, he's a bully nerd.
No, dude, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
You know what else I love?
I'm not buying it.
Is that the voice that was in his suit is Jennifer Connelly?
Yeah,
who is the
Paul
wife?
Bettany's
the wife. That's brilliant. Yeah. Like, what a lovely little nod.
Like in my head, I think like Paul Bettany's like, hey, you guys getting to do the voice for the
Spider-Man
other suit?
Movie. Yeah.
I know somebody.
Yeah. Or they were all like, "Oh, we're getting your wife." What? Can't I do it? No, sorry.
It's even better. It's
how did you
another
think,
paycheck.
How did you think Keaton was?
Awful, boring.
What?
Yeah.
All right. How did you like the turn in the movie when he opens the door and you find out he's the father of the girl?
Ridiculous.
I loved it.
Ridiculous.
I loved all of it.
Ridiculous.
And I didn't see it coming, and I should have seen it coming.
And the fact that it was so blatantly PC and.
How so? I mean, it's a PG-13 movie.
Okay, you got the chubby Polynesian kid.
Yeah.
You got the African American love interest who doesn't look like her dad.
Here's the other thing. My sister turned to me. So you know Zendaya, who turned out to be Mary Jane in that movie.
Yeah.
The other African American.
The angry.
Right. My sister came up with something. What I thought was brilliant was I thought the two lead female African American girls were sisters. That's what my sister said. Because she was at the party and he was like, "Why are you at this party?" And she's like, "I'm not really." Which would have been great of like, my older sister is throwing a party in my house and I have to deal with it. Like, I thought it would have been a lot better if it's like, oh, I'm into the older sister, but turns out my real love interest is the younger sister who I didn't notice was there the whole time. But anyway, my mom also went, "It's ridiculous. He ruined that poor girl's life. She had to move out of the state because he couldn't let her father just do his thing."
You want to know what he does to Gwen Stacy, Ma?
Yeah, I didn't want to tell her that.
Yeah, the guy's not good with girls. No, he was too dorky.
thought he was
these
great.
British dudes play this overly naive American stuff that a kid from New York City is not going to have that kind of naivete. I mean, come on.
You were so angry right now.
It just doesn't make sense, and then we keep playing to.
I thought he was great.
We keep playing to the idealized 60s, 70s version of who this kid is, and it's just not. I don't know, man. Like I love Tobey Maguire.
I like Tobey Maguire. Tom Holland's my Spider-Man now.
The first,
The first Andrew Garfield?
yeah, first one.
Oh,
I enjoyed his performance
terrible.
a lot.
No. Dude, he was way too cool to be Peter Parker.
It's kind of true, but dude, his
skateboarding.
hair was perfect. His hair was perfect.
Because you guys
That
have
was
similar
perfect.
hair.
It's true.
That's the only
but
reason.
It's perfect Peter Parker. hair.
No, it's
This
not.
kid did not have it.
Dude, no. This
And
kid
he was good. I enjoyed him a lot. Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Like
Tom
I
Holland,
kind of enjoyed it. I got bored. The
You know what my
vulture
favorite
suit.
part?
The vulture suit was too much. The technology.
Did you
that
want an
they're giving
old
all
bald
these-
man with feathers?
I would have liked somebody to figure out how to get it done.
Well, here's the other thing.
And it's like the rhino suit in
I hated that.
two. Exactly. The over mechanicalization, that shit doesn't exist. I'm sorry.
But you know why I think the Vulture suit works? But again, it's such another thing in the Marvel universe is that all these bad guys are just bad guys that Tony Stark has created.
Right.
That are just foils of Tony Stark. This guy had a legitimate business, and because Tony Stark
that was
created...
another thing that pissed me off. But here's what I can't accept about his turn to a bad guy.
Yeah.
The so obvious he's on the side of good.
Who?
While Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
The Vulture, while he's like cleaning up and they're doing this, and he's so, if he really owns a company that has a major construction cleanup job, he's probably not really, I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy that he was this.
Have you ever seen Breaking Bad?
No.
Then that whole show is about a good guy and then one decision.
Right. What I'm saying is no company is going to come in and not compensate his company, period. It's just not going to happen.
All right.
Tony Stark.
But you can suspend your disbelief that
Nope.
there is a Spider-Man
Yeah, absolutely. Radioactive spider, bro. Haven't you studied chemistry?
all the time. That's
No,
all
I know
study.
that's not true.
I'm sorry.
You're online figuring out Flashpoint.
I'm sorry, it's biology.
And what's Nancy Meyer's new project?
She's actually written something. I think she's producing it, but
Oh,
not
I've heard of
directing
it. It's called Boring.
It doesn't actually look that good. It's a Reese Witherspoon movie that's coming out where
man.
she's like with a young guy, but divorced. I don't know. Anyway, I like Spider-Man a lot. My favorite thing is when the building's on top of him and he's like, "Come on, Peter, come on," and he says, "Come on, Spider-Man," and that's what gets him out.
Yeah. I'll always love Spider-Man scenes.
What did you think?
The Peter Parker stuff I can't deal with.
What did you think of him with Tony Stark and I was gonna say Gwen
I don't
Paltrow,
like it.
Peter Parker or Pepper Potts and.
I don't like it.
But did you like that they? Did
I liked him
whole,
in Civil War a lot.
How did you feel?
I didn't like Tony Stark in this version. I didn't like him having a Stark suit. He doesn't have a Stark suit. That's what made everything Spider-Man made was for himself. Like,
So wait.
nobody made him anything.
Hold on. So you don't want this kid to make his own web shooters, but you want him to make his own suit. You can't have it both ways, Bobby.
Dude, I can go make a pretty damn good Spider-Man outfit,
Can
dude.
you?
Especially, yeah.
He did make a Spider-Man outfit. It's just a hoodie and some
Yeah,
goggles.
that's what I do.
Ugh. Anyway, agree to disagree.
But
I think
dude,
it's a great
I mean,
movie.
like the nah, dude. He doesn't have he's not Iron Man with Spider-Man powers, dude.
No, but
Yes, he was. He
Well-
could fly. He could figure out physics and stuff through his little eyepiece. Come on, dude. It's not.
I liked
the-
it. And look, I think all of that was because he's going to be in Infinity War.
I could just be an old man.
You're an old man. He's going to be in Infinity War. So you know the
Yeah.
suit that they showed at the end?
No. Oh yeah.
where
when they
where
had the
Tony was
press
like,
conference.
"Here's your new one," and he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm good. I'll keep the old.
Yeah.
I'll just keep the old one." That one is definitely in the comic books. Tony Stark gives Iron Man a suit. It's called the Iron Spider.
He gets Spider-Man a suit.
Yeah, and it's called the Iron Spider.
Right.
And I think that suit is going to be the Iron Spider
Right.
suit.
What
and
he has
that's-
to use on the planet Triple Horn.
Yeah, sure. What?
Infinity War. It's
Yeah.
on a different.
Well, I
a
think
different universe,
Thanos is either
bro.
gonna come to Earth at some.
Sorry, I'm really
You
enjoying the use of the word
You just
bro.
keep calling me bro. Listen, bro.
Look,
Okay,
bro.
bro. Yeah, he's gonna fight space people, so he's gonna need a little more
Whoops.
than like a leotard.
Yeah, man. Whatever.
All
No,
right.
dude. Like, it's too much Marvel. It's not enough of the originality. Like they copied the train scene from Spider-Man 2
with the fairy.
Dude, I honestly, I friggin' cried during that scene.
You know what the only problem with that
Cried
scene
during that scene, bro.
is when they pull him back on the train,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
and they go, he's just a boy.
Dude, that got
He's
me.
not. He's a 47-year-old man at this point.
Millionaire.
Yeah, he's not a boy. This Tom Holland kid, even though he's like 20, he's a boy. He looks like a boy.
No, he's playing like Tom Hanks in friggin' Big. He's playing somebody at the age
Whoa,
that he's
I'm
playing.
big! That's,
Yeah.
that's my Tom Hanks.
It was pretty good.
Hooch!
What? Ooh. Yeah. He to me.
Wanna hear my
Tom
Tommy Lee
Hanks
Jones?
played the guy mentally incapacitated.
Want to hear my Tommy Lee Jones?
No.
Oh.
Of course I do. What?
All right. Thanks. Thank you very much, everybody. All right. We'll just agree to disagree. It seems like you've disliked all of the superhero movies this year,
I wasn't impressed by any of them, except War for the Planet of the Apes.
which is not a superhero movie. But
To you,
okay.
friggin' apes were superheroes, bro.
In some ways, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna come over there and punch you. Call me bro one more time, bro.
Sorry, dude.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But you like Guardians of the Galaxy when we talked about it.
Yeah, I was kind of bored.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Mopey. It was mopey. It was mopey.
You're mopey.
It was mopey. It's like everybody has to do this thing now where the second movie has to have some kind of gravitas or some kind of emotional pull, something to keep you, look at how... you
gotta have some story.
Star-Lord. You can have story without having it mawkish, dude.
It's
you
not
can
mawkish. You hate...
Who was the villain in Guardians 2?
In Guardians 2?
Yeah.
Technically Ego was.
You mean Darth Vader?
Yeah. It's Empire.
Thank you.
What do you mean thank you? How does that help you?
How about,
Are you
let's
saying-
go with some originality. Stop conforming and stop enjoying... Like,
Are you saying Empire Strikes Back is a bad movie?
No, what I'm saying is they just copied it.
Well, the first Guardians, which you love, is a copy of A New Hope, which we've talked about as well.
Yes, but it's done well. Doesn't mean you copy the whole friggin' thing, dude.
Bro.
No,
All
see,
right.
I got you.
We, how long
No,
have we-
do you
how
understand
long-
what I'm
yeah, I
saying?
understand what
You're
saying.
allowing what was an anomaly, which is the fact that they just made Empire Strikes Back that movie. It wasn't planned.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say
Okay,
again.
so Empire
You're saying
Strikes
Empire,
Back.
You're talking about Empire.
I'm talking Empire Strikes Back.
Right. They just made it, and it was what
Yes.
it was. It's the first of its kind.
Yes,
Is what you're saying.
exactly.
Right.
It wasn't specifically
Which I don't know if
designed
it-
to be
I don't know if it
emotionally
is.
mawkish. It just happened to work out that well because that storyline happened to work perfectly.
Right. But as we've talked before, George Lucas may be Joseph Campbell's greatest
But there was no
student.
example for it, dude. There was like he put these
I'm
myths
sure,
together.
I'm sure there are examples of it that
He
are
put the
not
myths together.
as in the zeitgeist as Empire Strikes Back. I don't have any reference because that's my reference.
But you also haven't heard anything that points to it. All we all hear about is Joseph Campbell.
Right.
What George Lucas's genius was to figure out the one thing that hits all people, men in particular, is daddy.
Wait, why men in particular?
Daddy, a boy and his dad, growing up.
But there are a lot of.
Then we find out he's also a jerk to his other daughter. He blew up her home planet, but we didn't know that was his daughter until
Okay, but in all reality, it's not her real home planet.
she didn't know that.
Right, of course she didn't know that because he's a bad
He
dad.
did. That's why he didn't care.
Right.
Oh, don't worry about it. You
well, he-
didn't.
well, he
you
did-
didn't really grow up.
He
Then.
didn't know. He didn't know it was his daughter for the longest time. He didn't know he had two kids.
He had the Force, dude. He knew what was going on.
Yeah, but remember in Jedi, he's like, "Oh, your sister,
You
Leia,
a sister.
a sister. You've betrayed her as well."
What?
Right?
But do you understand what I'm saying?
I
You're
do
conforming
understand.
to. You're allowing these movies to continually peddle you the same trash, and you're not demanding that they give you a better product and change up the paradigm.
But how much time? Okay, look, you've got a Logan Lucky, you've got a Baby Driver, which are considered
Two bad movies.
original ideas.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, bad.
Well,
So
I
why take
understand
why
why
take
people.
a risk on it if you're a movie? If
Because
you're
you
a
can.
movie
You
company?
can take a risk with.
It's a lot of money.
And then. So what?
For you.
Yeah,
It's not your money.
it was when I paid to see it.
You paid, what, $12 for a ticket?
Fucking 20, dude.
20
I go to the IMAX, buy the house,
Oh, jeez.
and I get popcorn. The whole thing's like $35-$40, dude. I don't want to go see trash.
Try
I don't wanna
taking
go
a
see-
date. Try taking a date to
I would
movies.
love to.
Yeah.
Screw you. You know
Yeah.
I'm fat.
I'm sorry, man. You're not that fat.
Look at me. I'm skinny.
You
Never
are.
stop me from getting busy. I'm a freak.
That's me.
Like the girls with the boom.
Look, I'm wearing tweed.
I once
It's a
got
really
busy
thinning.
in a Burger King bathroom.
All right.
Sorry.
So, look, we've talked Wonder Woman, we've talked Spider-Man, we've talked War of the Planet of the Apes. We went on a big 70s TV tangent. We
Yeah.
talked Marx vs.
Dunkirk. If you're gonna
Oh,
see
we didn't
any
talk
movie,
Dunkirk.
I just
You loved it.
real quickly and plainly. I can't remember the last time I had an experience like that in the theater where that movie was so intense and so suspenseful and so wonderfully made with all appreciation of how filmmaking is made.
For me, it
couldn't
was
enjoy
it
more.
was stressful.
Yeah.
It was a stressful movie to watch. And I think that had to do with the soundtrack, with the ticking that was constantly going on. I was with
And
my...
then confusing you early with the time.
Yeah, that threw me off a little bit, but once I had to explain it. I saw it with my dad, and I had to re-explain it to him. He's like, oh, I get the time thing. It's such a Chris Nolan thing to throw
Right.
in one little thing that's so off for
But
people
now
to
if you
go...
look at, and it, but
Yeah,
if
no,
you
it makes
also look
sense.
at his, it's amazing how time
Is a big
what-
thing with him.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. I don't know if I loved it.
And psychology.
I found it interesting. I was in one of those D-box theaters, so the chair would shake. It was...
How many times did you jump to your left because
Well-
you thought you were getting bombed on your right?
Well, let me tell you, a little bit, the first thing, a gunshot went off and the chair
Right.
moved, and both my dad and I looked at each other going, that's the movie, right?
That's first 2
the
minutes.
First 2 minutes, we're going, that's not someone in the theater, that's the... Okay.
Right, no.
And again, that goes back to one of our original conversations of going, this affects how you watch movies now. And especially a Chris Nolan movie. That
Right.
was another thing
Right.
that hit me as well. I'm going, there's a Chris Nolan movie. I don't know if someone else, some copycats running in.
It would
So-
have been amazing if a guy had rented a 1942 bomber
movie.
and just started carpet bombing the theater. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous to even joke about.
Yeah, that's not funny. But anyway.
No, but totally. Like,
Yeah, so that I
and,
mean,
your heart pounding.
in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think he wanted that, obviously not for the
Totally,
reasons
totally.
that I
Right,
put onto it.
right.
Again, yeah, visually it's a stunning movie. You know what I mean? And I think you were telling me that they rented planes from all over, and he really shot all of the fighter
Like,
stuff.
what was the movie that Howard Hughes did?
I'm trying to remember?
Wolf Air or something like
No,
that? Wolf Castle and McCormick? Wolfenstein? Am I on the right track?
No, there's no wolf in it.
Flying Aces.
No.
No, that was Laurel and Hardy. That's another great tandem.
I
Where
know.
you'll always love Stan Laurel.
Yeah.
You'll always hate Hardy because he looked like Fat Hitler.
Hold on, I gotta look it up now. Just bear with me.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it before you do.
All right, because I can see it vividly.
It's 2 words. Flying.
It's not Flying Aces. Hell's Angels.
2 words.
Hell's Angels.
And and the last word started with A. So
that-
I'm gonna say I'm close on that. I'm closer
Wolf?
on that than you were.
Wolf what?
Wolfenstein. Best video game ever in 1982. Guy.
You're doing anything not to say bro. Anyway, here's the thing. Would you watch that movie again?
Wolfenstein?
Yeah, Wolfenstein.
Dunkirk?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, for me, I'd be
Yeah.
like, I've seen it. I'm good. It was
That's
what it
how
was.
I feel about Schindler's List.
Well, is that different though? Just because?
Just
it's
just
so-
in terms of like I can't ever watch that fucking movie again.
Right.
It hurts.
But emotionally, it hurts.
Yeah.
For me, Dunkirk doesn't hurt me emotionally.
Oh man, like psychologically, like what I would like to re-see in the film is all the stuff now that leads up to stuff. I have a lot of questions that I would love to have answered about that movie.
Yeah.
Did the guy? Okay, so it all starts off
Right.
essentially where it's basically no dialogue. It's all teamwork.
No.
The whole movie's about teamwork.
Most of the movies, no dialogue.
The whole movie's about teamwork, though.
Yeah.
And
Or lack thereof.
but really was it? I mean,
in different parts, like when the guys are on the boat.
but I mean that's survival. That's I've never seen a movie that accurately that feels accurately in depicting the horror of like what 20 minutes lasts a lifetime. Like you knew everybody who was on that beach went home scarred. Period.
Right. Yeah.
Like to experience what they experienced. Like, but it was 45 minutes. You know, I mean, like the culmination of months and years of doing it. But like that being on the beach and still trying to survive. I thought that's what that scene on the boat, that docked boat, was about.
I can see that. Look, I personally, I just found it a little boring.
How?
And maybe it was because of lack of dialogue. Like, who's the kid from One
Well,
Direction?
I don't understand what that means. Like a dialogue, there wasn't enough people giving you plot. What plot information did you need?
It wasn't about the plot. I didn't feel a connection to those main characters as much. Maybe because I didn't hear them interacting with each other or toward the screen. Because there was so much silence, I had no affinity toward any of them, really. Again, I didn't want any of them to die. You know what I mean? Tom Hardy, who is probably the only star other than like Kenneth Branagh in that movie, I have an affinity for because I know his work. So you're going, again, it's that actor versus movie star thing where I'm going, and I think Tom Hardy's a good actor, but he's also a movie star. And you're going, I want Tom Hardy to get out of this. And here's a man who's covered his face for the last 2 Nolan movies. But at the end, when
it would be very painful.
Yeah, but when he's standing on the beach next to his exploded fire,
that was one of the most tragic moments in film history for me, dude.
Yeah, but I felt that for him.
Totally.
But was that because of his character, or is that because it's Tom Hardy?
It's because that dude just saved everybody.
Right, but again, is
and
it Tom
he ends
Hardy?
Up like
he's gonna get
no, dude. It wasn't Tom Hardy. It was the movie. It was the drama of what you were watching. I mean, you might have been bored.
Yeah.
But like what I experienced
bored, I mean
throughout
very
that.
very loosely. Like
no,
like I wasn't.
Dude, it's fine to be bored. Like the way I hate every movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, obviously.
I get it. Like it's okay to be bored.
But varying degrees of being bored.
For me, those moments were filled with tension and hope, and I guess what it just really felt like I was there.
Okay.
Like what it was.
And I was in
what
the
it
D
must
box,
have been like.
and it didn't feel like that. Where Saving Private Ryan, that war movie.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan really didn't get me.
Really, like the opening scene didn't make you go, "Oh my god."
No. Yeah, I didn't see it.
You haven't seen Saving Private Ryan?
Never saw it.
You're crazy, man. Anyway.
Obviously.
So Dunkirk, I give like it was good.
But
you were brilliant.
I would give it 110 out of 80.
Right. How long have we been going now?
1.5.
Okay. I'm slowly fading a little bit.
Okay, you got like 10, 15 more in you?
Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay, we're going to close strong, guys.
Okay.
I've pounded Dave with smoke. And it's not so much his sinuses, which of course are horrible. It's that the smoke gets in the tweed.
Yeah.
And his dry cleaner can't get it out.
My dry cleaner bill
and his butler won't serve it to him.
Astronomical. So, or astronomical. That's how high I'm getting now. So we've talked a lot. I was, not to plug my own stuff, but I was in a Stephen King miniseries called Bag of Bones with Pierce Brosnan, in which I play a bad guy. And,
what year?
This is 2011.
Okay.
And I play a rapist and a murderer. And I had to
I wouldn't have you as a murderer.
In fact, I'll tell you, the people who cast me, I asked why did they cast me, and they said because you have the face of someone we would not expect to be a rapist and a murderer. And I go, I think that's a good thing. So I'm not one.
Thanks-ish?
Thank you. So I had to do a rape scene in it, and in between, like I did the opposite of a Daniel Day-Lewis. I tried to keep it light and jokey up until they're like, all right, we got to start rolling again. And then you get into the
That's
zone.
almost even creepier, bro.
No, like I was trying to be friendly, you know what I mean?
That's almost like Patrick Bateman stuff.
That's me. I'm Patrick Bateman.
I'll kill you. Cut.
More,
you know a funny story.
More Jason Bateman. Teen Wolf, little Teen Wolf 2. Have you
two where he really got the rhythm?
Have you watched Ozark?
No, I hear it's great.
It's really good.
I hear it's great.
He's great.
And I hear Sneaky Pete is great.
I haven't seen that, but Ozark is fantastic.
Okay.
So,
but it's drama, man.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons too with Game of Thrones. Like I can pretty much commit to comedy.
Yeah.
Except for like cartoons, I'm having a harder time as an older adult getting into new cartoons.
So what are your cartoons that you watch?
I don't really watch cartoons anymore.
What?
Just watch
Family
Suicide
Guy.
Squad, Man
Oh
of
my
Steel,
God, stop.
or Batman vs Superman,
Family Guy's still brilliant.
or The Big Short. I watch that a lot too. I like that.
Really?
movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Family Guy's still great.
Adam McKay, the guy who directed Anchorman,
Yeah, directed Big Short.
was
I know.
nominated for an Oscar. I think that's phenomenal.
He had to make Anchorman 2 for them to let him make Big Short.
Wow.
That was the caveat. He goes, I want to make Big Short. He's like, and they go, we don't want you to do that. What do I have to do this? Anchorman 2.
All right.
All right, fine.
Get everybody back together and make a bad movie. But actually, to tell you the truth, too,
Yeah.
Anchorman 2 is the best
Nope.
Not
good.
satire of cable news in the world without being a good movie.
Okay. That's
It's
fair.
not a good movie at all.
It's not a good movie.
But
that lighthouse,
literally-
lighthouse thing goes on for way
Oh, man.
too long.
it was like they were stalling for like 11 minutes. They needed 11 more minutes.
But why? It's a movie. You can make it as long or as short
Reshoots,
as you
dude. That
want.
could have been like a reshoot thing.
But
That
why?
When
Why?
Because
All of
how
it
many
was-
times, how many days do they have to get Will Ferrell,
Yeah,
Paul
look.
Rudd, and Steve Carell, and then they
Who are all
had
now stars in
what's
that
her head too? Who was the chick?
well, which one? Because
Kristen Wiig. They had Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah, Kristen Wiig.
It was like they just threw all this stew, and they probably only had Carell for like 12 days.
Probably.
So they probably like couldn't really put a plot together. I don't know. But again, the way it understood cable news was better than anything I've ever seen or read about satire on cable news.
All right.
I think I'm putting you to sleep.
A little bit. That's all good. Are we really ending on Anchorman 2?
Wait, what other movies didn't we get to? I feel like we didn't get
I
to.
wrote Atomic Blonde, which I sort of liked. I wrote Hitman's Bodyguard, which was funny.
Okay.
Like, it was basically like straight man Deadpool against Nick Fury with a little bit of Elektra from Daredevil, and Defenders, which was rough.
Oof.
Uh,
If I hear the term "the hand" one more friggin' time in my life, I'm gonna friggin' lose it.
Here's the thing. I found Defenders to be, again, boring, especially
Yeah.
for only 8 episodes. I was like, thank goodness there's only 8 episodes of this. The best thing about it was A, Daredevil. He was still great.
Yeah.
And B, the fact that everybody called Iron Fist out on his crap.
And being a baby.
Like, even Colleen Wing was like, or I think it was Colleen Wing and Claire Templeton.
Yeah.
Were like, he's the immortal Iron Fist, and he will tell anybody who will listen that he's the immortal Iron Fist. It's like, yeah, we get it.
Okay, real quick though, too.
Yeah.
After we had this conversation earlier today, it really kind of dawned on me. And it kind of dawned on me around episode 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
The dude's parents died when he was 7, right?
Yeah, he stayed a 7-year-old.
Man, and I gotta tell you, as much as I can't stand that kid's performance,
I don't think it's Finn Jones, the actor who plays
no,
him.
it's most definitely his voice and the way he's delivering the lines, dude. And he's.
Oh, I thought for a
like
second
Peter
you were
Lorre.
agreeing with me. I've gone, no. Yeah, it's not him at all. It's just the way he does it. Like, I thought you were insulting me that way. But no,
I think it's
because I've seen he's a good actor. I think it's.
I agree. It's
think
just not the right part.
I think it's how it's written. Because the whole Iron Fist series.
Daredevil's
was,
written just as dumb, but I think he pulls the lines off better.
Also,
he's just so overly dramatic. He was so.
Also, from the
it
comics,
was so Cap and Bucky.
Yeah,
that, and I got to tell you too, I can't be more in love with Elektra.
She's
like
great.
I feel about Elektra the way I felt like I should have felt about Margot Robbie in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I think Elektra's fantastic.
Oh man,
she's a great actress. And
yeah.
Well, here's the other thing.
She got the chops, literally. I'm Elektra. I'm
Well,
back from the
I
dead.
think she and the actor who plays Matt Murdock at Daredevil,
Charlie Cox,
their physicality is both great.
Yeah, they have great chemistry.
They're good, but I meant their physicality with the fighting.
Yeah.
Because here's the other thing: the Immortal Iron Fist.
Sloppy.
Well, he's supposed to be the greatest martial artist in the world, and I feel like Daredevil did kick his ass.
Right.
Like easily, and Daredevil's more of a parkoury kind of brawler. Like comes more from boxing as well as ninja.
But also like his mentor Stick grew up with the coin or whatever it's called. So he grew up with the same stuff that Iron Fist grew up with. Because he trained from the same dudes that Iron Fist trained with, bro.
Well, no, bro. Iron Fist studied in Kunlun, the mystical city of Kunlun, and Stick studied with the chaste, who were not from. He never went to Kunlun. He just studied from people who were sort
You
of
gotta
around
rewatch
there.
episode 7, brah.
Nah, bruh. Not gonna do it, bruh.
Yeah, no, he studied with the same people that he.
Are
he
you
told
telling
Iron
me
Fist.
that the whole plot of that entire series is that there are dragon bones underneath New York,
I know.
and that's what's keeping it up?
See, that's what I mean about like time travel and doing stupid stuff like that, dude. Portals and stuff. There's a portal in the basement. Let's
But
blow it up.
technically, that is in the same world as the Avengers, because they
Yeah.
keep talking about the incident.
It's just not shot as well.
No, but so there is this is a world where aliens have. There's a hole was ripped
There's
through
a
the
hole
sky.
above the sky, and there's a hole in the middle of the earth.
Earth's a rough place in this universe.
Yeah,
Like a lot happens.
the whole solar system.
Well, here's the other thing. I found it weird that they, throughout the 4 series, so you've got Daredevil, Season 1 and 2, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, they mentioned the incident, which is the aliens, the first Avengers movie, aliens coming through.
And there was also that little short about Lizzie Kaplan
Yeah.
and Jesse Bradford finding the gun
Right.
and creating havoc in the city. So
City of
there
New York.
was a need for these superheroes to help sort of protect the day-to-day
Right.
while they protected the sky.
So, and technically also, it's in the same universe as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Spider-Man. So Spider-Man is in Queens.
Queens.
Which is...
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, Queens.
Where you from, kid?
Queens.
Brooklyn.
It's one of the greatest moments in a movie, I think.
Oh, man, I was just like... that was an eye roller for me.
Really?
Oh, man.
That's such a thing, though.
We're in New York. Ugh. From Chicago, man.
Oh, that's why. All right. And I'm from LA, so I have no affinity toward it.
Brooklyn.
Where are you from? Burbank.
Yeah.
Calabasas.
Woodland Hills.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that you went 11 miles west.
Of course I did. Where are you from? Beverly Hills. Calabasas. Same thing.
Calabasas.
Calabasas.
Tarzana.
No, we're good. Here's some other movies. Kong Skull Island, which was way early.
John C. Reilly. If you can, just go to YouTube and watch all the John C. Reilly
Here's
scenes.
the thing:
They're
the
awesome.
acting in that movie is terrible. The
The
monster
script's
stuff.
worse.
The monster stuff is fantastic.
Yes.
Like the CGI. We're talking
But
about.
then they started creating monsters. Wasn't down for it. Wasn't down for the.
Stick bug monster or whatever.
Nope, not at all. Nope.
So here's the thing, though. I loved how big King Kong was, or Kong
Yeah.
was. They're building it up for when Godzilla versus King Kong is going to come out in a few years. That they've already announced it,
See, I hate that you know that.
but it's already been announced.
Like what? Did they go on the steps
Yeah.
and with like a megaphone? They're like,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Godzilla.
boys and girls, after Godzilla 2, there will be a King Kong versus Godzilla.
right. I mean, like, stop.
But that's a remake. Like, have you seen the original King Kong versus Godzilla?
Stop making me so aware of it. Not
Why?
you, but them.
Why?
Don't worry about what you might sell me. Just what you're selling me now, make it good. Guess what? Without you letting me know that Godzilla is eventually going to meet Kong, just make good Godzilla movie.
But we've talked about this before. Marvel is to blame for this.
No.
Yes.
It's copycats, bro. You can't get mad at the innovator. You can only get mad at the copycats.
I understand that, and I agree with you, but they created a shared universe and did it incredibly well. So now everybody goes, the money is in a shared universe.
So don't support shared universe.
Don't
support those.
shared universes.
Don't support studios that only are interested in shared universes and not good movies that inhabit
I'm gonna
these
go to
shared
these
universes.
movies. They already have my money. It's all the stuff I like, though.
So you like The Mummy? No, you didn't.
But I went and saw it,
Right, because you're schmucky. I don't want to call you schmuck.
bro.
Because I don't think you're a schmuck.
Listen, bro.
Dude.
Whether I be a schmuck or not, I'm a big thing for me is going to the movies. I like getting lost. And look,
Same, but why are you okay with spending your money on garbage, dude?
well, what else am I going to spend it on? Weed and women and booze? Oh my God, I've wasted my life.
Seriously.
Well, why am I watching all these dumb movies?
I don't know. But I'm sure glad you saw Let It Be.
On that note, I think we'll wrap up the podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
You got stuff to do.
I just love movies.
Same, but you're not watching movies, dude. You're watching garbage that these studios continue to churn out.
But I
and for
won't
some
know
reason,
if
you
it's
really
garbage.
enjoy the information that's within these garbage. Dude, there isn't one movie that really stays with you. There isn't. the whole point of film to me
There are
is
movies
that
that stay. We've talked a whole episode about movies that stay with you.
I'm talking about good movies. We haven't talked about anything since 2012 or 13. What's the last great movie you saw? For me, it's Dunkirk. Before that, it was like No Country for Old Men.
Again, I like all these superhero movies, so like.
But you like them, but there isn't really like stuff that stays with you the way Llewellyn Moss's character stays with you in No Country for Old Men. The way
I don't
Daniel
even know
Day-Lewis
who
stays with
Llewellyn
you.
Moss is. I know who it is. It's Josh Brolin, right? Is it Josh Brolin?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yes.
But look, I'm in the bag for these movies. It's like again, it's all stuff I like. I like superheroes.
I'm just
that's
saying.
why
I
I think I've talked to you. That's why I have an affinity for Greek mythology. It's just superheroes.
Yeah,
all
but
stories.
it's really it was such good superheroes. People believed it to be true.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe all these things are true. There is a man
living in the ocean right now.
Yeah. Which one, Namor or?
I always like
Aquaman?
Namor more, but I always liked Aquaman because he had blonde hair, and for some reason, I thought all superheroes should have blonde hair, even though I like Superman the most
Racist.
and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm Harris.
Harris.
I mean, like you got good hair. If you had shitty hair, you'd have a whole different impression of what I was.
Do you
talking
have shitty
about.
hair?
No, I have incredible.
Yeah, you have great hair. What are you talking about? Yeah.
No, I have an appreciation for hair, like Peter Parker, man.
But why blonde hair?
I don't know. I like blonde superheroes.
Yeah.
See, like I had a cousin who was the closest boy cousin to me in age, and he had like really blonde hair, and he was really awful to me and used to beat me up. And I think Stockholm syndrome, like blonde hair with somebody being good, even though the guy was awful. Still is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I won't say his name.
Brad. Anyway. No way did I get it. The face he made was like, I just pulled that out. So overall, how do you feel the summer has gone?
It's for me, just personally, it's been a fucking horrible summer, and
Really?
I apologize for swearing, but yeah, it's ending strong. But man, it was really weird.
Yeah, it's
It was just
been
really
a
weird.
weird summer.
Yeah.
There's been some ones again that I really like, and ones that I'm like, oof.
So maybe, in retrospect, and me hopefully trying to be honest with myself about myself,
Yeah.
maybe it was the fact that I was having a bad summer that I viewed all these movies that we talked about as bad. But I don't know why Dunkirk, or I would say I know why Dunkirk is the one movie out of everything and more for the Planet of the Apes, but Dunkirk especially touched me the most was because I just thought it was the best film.
Right.
Like it was something that cared about sound, it cared about character. It couldn't have been more a better example of what teamwork is to me. And I think like ultimately, for whatever it is in my life, I love movies about teamwork and character building, and I also like happy endings.
Right.
So
Which is strange because all these superhero movies are sort of team up movies of teams coming together and happy endings.
But
Depending.
no, it was the term happy endings.
Oh, I see.
Like I was just thinking of Thor and Hulk and
By the way,
Captain America
as
and
we're
a circle jerk.
As we're talking, that Thor movie,
Ragnarok?
Ragnarok looks amazing.
Yeah.
That's the one I
Yeah,
really
you got a little
can't-
Doctor Strange in there too.
Doctor Strange, the last trailer that came out, I cannot wait.
That movie kind of stunk.
Doctor Strange, I loved it.
All right, I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. I kind of liked it, but I watched it a few times.
Here's the thing.
I don't remember nothing, and I've
Pe-
watched it three
People
times.
dislike Ant-Man and Doctor Strange.
Ant-Man's terrible.
I like them both, but the problem that people have with them is they are great origin Phase 1 Marvel movies.
Right. In Phase 3,
That
4.
you're getting it through Phase 3,
Right.
4, but we have
good point.
we have to set up these people. So people are like, we've already seen these types of origin movies. It's like, yeah, but these characters are new.
But is the cash grab so important to them for making these movies that you can just introduce them? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was thinking about it with Marvel. They bought Marvel for $4 billion,
Something like that.
$4.4 billion or something like that.
And they bought
And
Star
that's-
Wars for $4 billion as
Yeah.
well.
So
Gotta make your money back.
I mean, like, and they've already made.
Toys.
I mean, but yeah,
A lot.
exactly. It's the
Yeah.
merchandising that
Which we've
like
talked
they
about.
never talk about,
At
but they
length.
also never consider a part of their licensing
Right.
that goes into the profit of the movie. So
Right. Well,
for every $600 billion they make, they also make another probably 400 or 500 million. I mean, like these are billion-dollar properties
I mean,
that
here's
they've
the
already
thing.
made their money.
As we've talked about, there are decades and decades and decades of comic book stories and a well of things that you can go to that they have to keep making movies. I feel like there's got to be a point where they go, geez, we own Star Wars and Marvel. We should cross these things over at some point.
I'm sure.
You're going to go...
Once they've run out of...
That's what I mean. Once they finally run out of ideas or source material.
Because now we got an Obi-Wan movie
Mm-hmm.
with Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. Is he for sure attached to it?
I'm 92.8% sure.
I don't think it's official that he is, but I don't know why you would get anybody else.
I'm sorry, I forgot the studio didn't come out with their megaphone.
Yeah.
Bro.
How do you even know about it, dude?
I have a buddy who knows
Somebody.
Bro.
Again, so Thor to me looks like great.
Looking forward to Thor.
I have no idea. Like Justice League came out with another trailer at Comic-Con. It's more of the same, and so far looks okay. Again, I've been tricked by the trailers before for this. I just don't know anymore.
Let me ask you. Okay,
Yeah.
this almost goes exactly what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
You're gonna see it, right?
Yeah. It's already got my money.
What do you care about the trailers or nothing? What do you care about building up your idea for? Oh, is this gonna be good? Are they doing this? That you already have now knowledge of the scenes that are going in. Don't you want to go in completely virgin-eyed?
So do you not watch any trailers?
Try not to.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, here's my problem. I like one trailer, maybe one more. So you get a little bit of information. You go, oh, I kind of see what they're doing. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
It hypes you up.
Like the first Suicide... Here's the deal. The first Suicide
Squad trailer.
Thank you. Got me.
Right.
Like hook, line, and sinker. I think I
wait.
keep watching the movie,
Hoping for
trying to figure out what it was in the trailer that was so good. I guess it was just Bohemian Rhapsody.
I was gonna say, was it the Bohemian Rhapsody one?
Could be.
Yeah. And that's
But
the thing. But
there's
that,
nothing
but that,
in
but
Suicide
that
Squad
trailer,
like the trailer.
that trailer hooked everybody.
Ruined the movie.
So much so
Ruined the
that they
movie.
had to recut the movie and go, the movie's not this. The trailer's this, but everybody's hyped for this trailer for a movie that does not exist.
Dude, okay. So, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm really not.
Sure.
So,
He's really a conspiracy theorist, guys.
did you hear that?
Nope.
So, do you think that Marvel does intentionally sabotage DC?
I think there's always been a rivalry between them. Well, how so?
What's with the Joss Whedon stuff this week?
What do you mean?
Okay, so we know Joss Whedon was incredibly successful in Avengers.
Right.
Incredibly successful.
Oh, so you think
So much
Marvel
so-
leaked that or
I
had
don't
something
know.
to do with all that story that came out?
That
with
is
Joss
certainly some really negative stuff to come out for a guy who professes, and the guy who single-handedly really propelled Marvel to be worth $4 billion.
That's strange. I never even thought.
And then he
that
jumped ship and goes to
Marvel had-
DC.
Because here's the thing.
That was explosive stuff to me.
That
dude.
was interesting.
That was forever. That was Tiger Woods style, projecting a different personality on almost his true personality.
Has he responded to any of that? Joss
I
Whedon?
haven't heard.
I haven't heard either. So
I can't imagine.
no.
Like
Yeah,
that, you gotta let it
was
set cool and hope it. But you don't think that's going to come back now? All that's going to do is come back up during his interviews for
for Justice League, and if he eventually does the Batgirl film that he's slated to do,
right?
That
Forever affects his brand going forward.
Oh, for sure. Negatively.
Oh,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it can't not. Except in the South. Now he's going through the roof.
Again, I'm not sure. Yeah, when I say I'm not sure. With
Do you think we should explain what happened? Do you think our listeners...
let's not get into it. If you want to go look, it's everywhere on the internet.
Joss Whedon got into a Twitter or whole thing with his website. I don't know. Like, I literally thought the world was where Joss Whedon couldn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
And then to hear that come from his ex-wife, it just wasn't good stuff. And
not at all.
especially in the delicate situation that Justice League is in.
Yeah, it's already
it's
in
an
a sensitive.
I mean, it's already gone through as bad as anything can go through.
Right.
With Zack Snyder,
Snyder's
but
tragedy. Yeah.
it's the strangest
Like, do you think at this
Like,
point?
I think Marvel leaked it. That's all I'm saying.
Really?
I guess. Yeah. Not Marvel, but don't forget how many
Because I know
distribution things that Disney owns.
Right.
That they can let that story leak and stay on like 20 different.
But how does that help them?
It further tarnishes. Well, they could be getting back at Joss Whedon for taking
jumping
the
ship.
job.
Yeah. For jumping to the other
Yeah.
guys. But does that hurt their brand also? Because they're like, well, Josh Whedon did do Avengers and Avengers 2.
We didn't know.
Right, at the time. We
didn't know what. I mean, that was horrible. He always presented himself as a guy who was always just this really champion of women.
Right, I understand that.
Man, it was really heartbreaking to hear. We were devastated.
Oh, you're Marvel right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good Marvel, wasn't it?
I thought it was Joss Whedon at first.
Thanks.
Look, I don't know. Because look, I do know I do have a bit of conspiracy where like DC will throw up a trailer and then all of a sudden, it's like, here's a new Justice League trailer, and then they'll go, oh, Defenders. Like whatever DC pulls out to go,
they've got
here's
checkmate.
our newest thing, and we're ready to go. Oh, here's a Thor trailer.
Wonder Woman 2 will begin shooting. Oh, you know what? We have
Here's
Infinity War. Here's Josh Brolin.
Yeah. Oh, it's whatever DC comes up with. Like, oh, Joss Whedon's gonna do Batgirl. Hey, here's a Black Panther trailer. Enjoy. like they just have so many things down the pipeline that they can respond with that makes them go like, whatever you throw down, we'll throw down something as well. But again, I don't know if they're gonna kick somebody down that way.
I think, I don't know. What I like most about it is that I am glad to see competition again. Like, when I moved to Los Angeles, I was very chagrined by the amount of work studios did in between each other, as opposed to trying to bury each other. And I would have liked to have seen, like, Universal still want to bury Sony.
Well, here's the thing. Here's and I think we should end on this. So it is Justice League related. Have you heard of Mustache Gate?
Yes.
I love this story. I think it's unbelievable.
Right.
You have Studio Paramount, who is doing Mission Impossible 6. Henry Cavill, who plays Superman, is the bad guy in Mission Impossible 6, and he is sporting a mustache. These major reshoots for Justice League, which I guess Superman is in. We all know it because they need Henry Cavill for the reshoots. They go, hey, Superman doesn't have a mustache. He needs to shave. Paramount goes, no. So, the agreement has come to, instead of him shaving his mustache off and either Paramount CGIing a mustache or, God forbid,
Paramount
putting a fake mustache on, they've agreed to that Warner Brothers is going to CGI over Superman's mustache. That they're going to erase his upper lip so that it looks like he is beardless and mustache.
It'll look as bad as the characters in Rogue One.
Here's the thing. Whether it looks bad or not, it's going to affect that movie. Well, again, on top of all the stuff that we're talking about.
Because now you know this walking in, because now you're looking for the scenes
you're going to walk in and
where
you're
they
going
CGI'd his lip.
to go, oh, is that his real lip or is that a CGI mustached off lip?
On a similar note, do you think Deadpool 2 is very harmed by what happened?
With what? With the director leaving?
No. Well, now it's had the director leaving, and there was a stunt woman who died.
Oh, recently? I didn't hear.
It was a few days ago.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, she died doing a stunt.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry to break it to you. I wish I hadn't.
Yeah. What a downer to end this podcast on. No, that's horrible.
You brought up the upper lip stuff.
I don't know, because, back in the day, like, poor John Landis, he got into movie jail because someone died on his segment of Twilight Zone, the movie. Yet, I think a stuntman died during The Dark Knight. Because in the
you might be right.
In the
Transformers.
Oh yeah.
In Chicago and Transformers, I believe.
That was
they were like cut in half or something.
There was an extra as well.
Might be.
So, again, when I was doing extra work, I was on the set of Transformers 3, I believe, and there was a story going around of I think it was a woman who was in her car waiting, and all of a sudden a cable snaps.
Yeah. Hit
her in the head, and instant brain damage, and her foot hit the car and like hit all these things, and the guys like, what crazy extra? What's wrong with this girl? They finally figured out what had happened, and the other extra who was telling me this was going, yeah, I can't believe it, and all for like scale. And I went, what do you mean? Yeah, I mean, and she did all this for like, $200. I'm going, if they paid me $1 million, I wouldn't want a cable to snap, whack me in the head,
Right.
and put me in the hospital forever.
Right. Like, had the day rate been better,
Yeah,
it would have been a better story of how you
Wait,
died.
That's the day I quit extra work going, this is what I'm working with? Are you kidding me? Because it was for scale, it was a horrible story? No, the fact that someone got hurt on set is a horrible story.
Did it Judge Smales in Caddyshack? The world needs... Oh, man. The world needs ditch diggers, too.
Caddyshack is a great movie.
Yeah. Oh, man. Like, again, I don't know that you can find talent like that and put it all in one place again.
It's not with the schedules.
Rodney
because,
Dangerfield, Ted Knight, Bill Murray, directed by Harold Ramis, Chevy Chase.
All at the height of their powers.
Right. I mean...
Brian Doyle Murphy.
Murray,
sorry.
Hi, it was his brother across the street,
Yes,
the Murphys.
Murphy. The Murphys.
They had the Brian Doyle Murphy and the Brian Doyle Murray.
So, let's
wrap this up.
Let's wrap it
so
up.
So we've got the fall previews coming up.
Right.
And that was basically Thor. We've wrapped that up.
So why don't we end on a positive note, since some of us... That was a pretty good one. Let's wrap it up with a movie suggestion you want to give to people to go see.
Dunkirk. Go see it in the theater.
Okay. I was saying like anything other than what we've talked about.
What else is...
I mean, I would recommend, because again, I just saw it recently, old movie, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. If you want to see brilliant acting, brilliant direction, and just a solid message as well. It's just a brilliant film.
And in a time where the country needed to hear somebody of moral authority, it's the same thing as To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe there is a thing about liberal Hollywood, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's funny.
And the Gentleman's Agreement.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's funny because in this movie, Spencer Tracy is the ultimate liberal. And his liberalism, or what he thought was openness, is tested when Sidney Poitier is brought to dinner and his family is brought to dinner, and the daughter says, this is the guy I'm going to marry. And he goes, I thought I was open, and I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
But the speech at the
amazing.
end. Yeah, it's amazing.
And the amazing, like, again, I don't know where this really exists as much in modern day filmmaking.
Well, again,
but the complexity of that situation and the ability to really examine that situation from all sides and all perspective and look at it compassionately.
Well, as we were talking about as well, we're in a culture now where everybody is offended. I don't think you could make that movie today.
But I don't think it needs to. The thing I disagree with that argument is like it's a different time.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But I mean, like, it can be made. It's just not that exact.
It's just
subject
gonna be.
matter.
It's just gonna be
Because
with Ashton Kutcher and
where it's the white guy who's the.
That's what I mean.
But what I mean is, like, if you look at today's culture, like a movie that would need to be that psychologically understanding is. Trying to be able to understand Trump supporters and have it so liberals understand Trump supporters and Trump supporters understand liberals.
Yeah, no,
and that was like that movie was like a bridge.
Of course, yeah.
And like there's just nothing in.
Well, he says
modern
he
culture.
says a great line. He goes, "You're both good people. You just have a pigmentation problem." Like that's all that people are arguing about.
Right.
It's just your pigment's different.
Right.
But it's a hard life what you've chosen, essentially, and I wish you all the luck. I want the best for you. That's why this is tough. But you've got a rough road ahead, but, after this experience of this day, you're not going to have any trouble from me, because I love you both, sort of thing. And it's a brilliant sort of message.
But and going back to Kill a Mockingbird, which to me is just like, that movie's a marathon.
Yeah.
The movie's an amazing marathon, and there isn't one wasted scene, ounce, or breath in that film. But we may have discussed this, what is the most amazing thing to me about that film, and Gregory Peck's genuineness.
Mm-hmm.
Genuineness.
Yeah.
Like, it just, the honor is, Atticus Finch is a conflicted man.
Right, because he's not...
He grew up in the same...
Right, but
he has to defend this guy.
Right, his moral compass in this is that the law says this. And I'm a lawyer, and my duty is to my client.
And I also know the way I grew up and the way I thought and the way they think. And I'm a lawyer trying to win a case.
Right.
That's what I think is so amazing about that and so subtle about that is like what's legitimate is he's trying to raise good kids, but he's really just trying to win the case. It's not so much that he believes in the moral authority. He's a lawyer trying to win a case.
Right.
And that,
but I think you said his genuineness.
Yeah,
I think
that's Gregory Peck. I don't think that's Atticus Finch.
I think
that's what
Atticus
he brought
Finch,
to Atticus Finch.
I think Atticus Finch does have a genuineness in that he believes in the law. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And if he's going to defend this guy, he believes him to be innocent, and he's going to do everything he can to make sure he's innocent.
See, that's where I kind of disagree.
Despite what Atticus Finch grew up with, and what his ideas with race is. Despite that, whatever negativity or racism or bigotry that he has within him, he believes in the law more, and that's what's pushing him.
See, I would just say that I think it's just more of him being a lawyer trying to win a case.
Yeah.
A little more so than him believing in the law.
Okay.
I think that's sort of the theatrics of him as a lawyer.
Maybe. But I think him to be a righteous, the character is a righteous character.
And I really think, because again, it's the same as Gentleman's Agreement.
Right.
Is he can't help but bring that genuineness.
Right.
He can't, that moral non-ambiguity.
Right.
That he's just a good man. And I think that's what makes Atticus Finch such a great character. Not that he's not a great character in the book, because the book's amazing too. And what it really is, so much of that movie to me is him trying to be a good dad, not knowing how to.
Right.
But that's just one of my favorite movies ever.
It's a great movie. So I guess ending this, the 3 movies we want to suggest to you are Dunkirk.
Yep.
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Yeah.
And while you're at it, go see To Kill a Mockingbird. It's a phenomenal film.
I want to say I watched something recently that I really liked, but I didn't.
All right. Well, we're going to end on that. So, look, thank you for listening. Please subscribe again on iTunes for us.
Yeah, because I can't assume that you guys would even think to do that or even know the internet.
But anyway, if you could also subscribe, give us a rating, and also a review, that really helps us. You can follow us on all the social medias.
No, honestly, you can't.
You can follow us on Twitter at Preppy & Stoner Pod. So Preppy and Stoner Pod. I'm sorry. Correct me. Let me correct it. That's the name of us.
You can't see, but I'm doing the Rocky pose right now.
It's at Preppy Stoner Pod. What's our Gmail? They can write us at Gmail.
That's going to be preppyandstonerpod@gmail.com.
Okay, and then follow us.
You didn't think I was going to know that,
I didn't think you'd know that. And then follow us on Facebook. Bobby does a lot of the posting for all the Twitter. And,
I'm not a good Twitter guy. That to me is too much of a commitment. That's just too much of a commitment. Of a waste of time reading other people's thoughts and stuff. And I don't want to. I don't want to
send us your thoughts.
But Facebook. I'm on Facebook a lot, and what I really like are comments especially about the reviews. And I do not mind arguing my point, and I would love to hear you argue yours. But they have to be good points. You can't just insult people. And unlike the Preppy, I don't accept the racist stuff that you guys put out.
I don't accept the racist stuff either. Yeah, we're happy to have dialogues with anyone and all people who...
Films too. Want to give us your top 10?
Yeah, please.
Give us your top 10.
Every so often on Twitter, I'll post a poll.
Ew.
All right.
I didn't know you were allowed to do that.
Of something to vote on. So please go there and look. Tell your friends about this podcast. That's how we get it out there. Anything else?
Share and send.
Share and send.
Stay high, guys.
Until next time.
If you do, if you don't, and don't start if you're a kid.
I've been trying to end this for like an hour.
It's just sort of a road and distraction that you don't need to go down, especially at this point.
I'm just breathing in smoke. I think what you want to do is
really focus on your studies and think hard about the things that you really like doing. It's more about getting the experience out of the way.
All right, guys, here's the thing. Go out there, see movies, be good to each other. As always, I am the Preppy.
I am the Stoner.
Stay preppy.
And stay stoned.
Good night.